Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's Northeast Texas football broadcast by Channel 54. I'm Bob Runyon with Robert Taylor sitting in from Mount Vernon, going to help us out tonight. Paul Pewitt has won the toss, will defend the south goal, and looks like they're out. We got number 10 and number 3 and number 8. That's Kedrick Wright and Nigel Franklin are deep for Paul Pewitt. Robert, what do you think about tonight?
Well, it'll be a good matchup. We've talked before the game that the last few years the ball games have been real close, and so we kind of expecting one again tonight.
Well, the kickoff was shanked a little bit out of bounds inside the 30, so probably Paul Pewitt will take the ball and start from that point.
Kickoff was by Felix Brinkert for Mount Vernon. He's a foreign exchange student, and he had never suited up before this year, so it's kind of something he'll be able to write home about and then talk about when he gets back to Germany.
I tell you what, we have a lot of foreign exchange students in the area. You just come across them every now and then, and we try to get them involved in things like this. We had one from, I believe, from Hungary or somewhere in Eastern Europe last year, and she was a track person, and boy, it was really fun to watch her get involved. Okay, Pewitt comes up to the line. Chris Money is the quarterback. You got Terrion Shepard, number 20, and number 8, Desmond Jones in the backfield. First play is Desmond Jones. He breaks a tackle at the line, and he's headed downfield. Nice tackle by the Mount Vernon player down there just inside the 35-yard line.
That's Joseph Kastner on the tackle for Mount Vernon, but not after a great run and a great start to the ball game for the Paul Pewitt Brahmins.
Boy, I tell you what, that's going to be 20, 30, 35, we'll call it 36 yards on the run for Desmond Jones, and already a first down. Pewitt hasn't started very quickly in the last couple of 3 games, but they've played real good in the second half, only to come up short. Wright to take the pass. He was split to the left. He makes a move on the Mount Vernon defenders and gets inside the 20-yard line.
Tackled by Maurice Holman and Chuck Johnson from the free safety spot. Yeah, a nice move right there.
Boy, that was kind of deceptive. I just hadn't seen Kedrick do that. That's 13 and 4. We'll call it 17 yards.
One quick juke to the outside, and he had the Mount Vernon defender just kind of frozen, and then he took the rest of it and made what yardage he could.
Ball setting out. Terrion Shepard takes it inside. He's finally stacked up by several Mount Vernon players just inside the 10-yard line. So Terrion's going to pick up about 6 on that one.
There's Chuck Johnson in on the play along with a couple of others. And that's always a bad sign early on when your defense, your free safety, is the one in on several of the tackles.
That was big defensive line for Mount Vernon. Coach Bickham says your nose guard at Mount Vernon is one of the best in the area. He can really play some football. So Munn's back up to the line. Looks like he's gonna pass. Nope. Gave the ball off to Desmond Jones. Looks like he picked up 1 yard before being brought down by Johnson and company again.
Tackled by number 20, Michael Monday, number 15, Brandon Williford for the Tigers.
A nice opening drive for Paul Pewitt here. Real quick, and now they've had 2 what you call minor plays after 3 or 4 big plays in a row.
And that big run by Jones to start it got it up, but Mount Vernon is bowed, held him inside that 10, and they got him again this time.
There's that Chris English. That's the nose guard you were talking about. That's Chris English in the backfield in a hurry, and a big loss on the play back to about the 15-yard line. Looks like it's going to bring up a 4th down, about 7.
Nice play by that nose guard. We've heard about him. The ball is at the, it looks like the 12.
Yeah, they're going to, I guess where he initially was.
So that's a 4-yard loss.
4th down, and it looks like a long 4 yards to go for the Brahmins.
So again, the Brahmins coming out. It's 4th down and about 4 or 5. Munn's going to try to pass. He holds up. He's got the first down. Looks like he's right about the 5-yard line.
Yeah, and Joseph Kastner making a play, hitting him, but not before he picked up the first down. That's going to bring up 1st and goal for Paul Pewitt.
All be placed about the 6-yard line.
So Munn gained 6 yards on the play, and the Pewitt is setting up at the 6, 1st and goal.
Well, a big play early on for Paul Pewitt, as they could have turned the ball over on downs after an initial good start. Now they're 1st and goal on the 6.
Munn hands the ball off to Shepard. Shepard's inside, but he's wrapped up quickly to about the 3-yard line.
That one's Brandon Weatherford on the tackle for the Tigers. But again, not before he had a little momentum and gained about 3 yards and brought it half the distance in closer to the goal.
Okay, Robert Kendrick-Wright is in with the play as Kenneth Johnson comes out. These two teams have played 26 times since 1962. There have been 2 ties, and each team has 12 wins. Very few blowouts. So Pewitt from the 3. Ball goes inside. Oh, it's a nice play. He reaches over to the goal, but no signal yet.
The lineman judges it just about a half yard short of the goal line. So
that was Terrion Shepard, and they mark it half yard short of the goal line. Give him 2.
I think he must have had his knee drop to the ground just before he stretched out and placed the ball over the goal.
Right. Pewitt's line is working well tonight. They've been sluggish in getting started. There goes Desmond Jones, and he's in for the touchdown over the right side. So Jones is in on the 1 yard run to give Pewitt the early lead with 8:06 left in the 1st quarter.
A nice opening drive for Paul Pewitt. And I know we talked about it with Coach Meeks before the game. The 0-4 record that Paul Pewitt sports right now is probably really deceptive. Probably the best 0-4 team in the state. Probably could have a record 3-1 if some breaks had gone their way.
Well, this is the first time, not the first time we've been ahead. And it looks like Tremont Hawkins is back. He's got a nice strong foot into it, but he missed it, looks like to the left. So the score is going to remain 6-0 with just over 8 minutes, left in the 1st quarter.
I know it might have been bad, but that ball was rocketed. They were going to have to check above the uprights. If it was close, they're going to be above the uprights to check and see whether that was good or not. He laid a foot into that ball.
Tremont was, we call him Mo over here, was injured in the last scrimmage against Dangerfield. So he did not kick at all against Bonham. And he finally came back against Jefferson in the 4th, make it the 3rd game, and kicked a little bit. He's had that ankle problem and finally seems to have shaken it off. So Pewitt starts off with a 70-yard drive.
Now the Mount Vernon Tigers lining up to receive the kick, and deep for the Tigers, number 45, Brian Smith. Number 30, Chuck Johnson, and deep in the middle will be Joseph Kastner, number 14.
So Mount Vernon's going to get its chance now. Mo Hawkins will kick off for Paul Pewitt. We can expect, Robert, I'm sure, to see Ricky Joe Meeks go to the air rather quickly. They may, I guess maybe they might start with Johnson off early in the game to establish that run game.
Well, he's done a nice blend this year with getting a passing and the running going. The ball taken in the middle by Maurice Holman. He makes the break right up the middle, and a good return and a nice position to start for the Tigers on their own 45-yard line.
Pewitt, Adrian Coffey does a kickoff for the Brahmas, and they usually does a good job, but he clipped that across the top, and the Mount Vernon Tiger grabbed the ball and made the best of it. Got it up to about the 44-yard line.
Well, that makes it nice. When you go north and south, you make a lot more yards than you go east and west. And that's all Maurice did, was just take it right up the middle.
Ricky Joe Meeks, son of Dickie Meeks, the head coach, brings the Mount Vernon Tigers up to the line. And they're going to open with a pass to Johnson. It's complete. Goes into Paul Pewitt territory. Give him 11 yards and a 1st down.
On the spot, I have a feeling they're going to bring the chains in. He spots him just short of the yard line, the 45-yard line of the Brahmas. And I say it's close enough to give him the forward edge of the ball across the yard marker. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
Oh,
the ball resting squarely on the 45-yard line of the Brahmas.
Nice play. Not a surprise to most people here. We've given up 150 yards in passing the game, and obviously Coach Meeks and his staff saw that on the films. So first down, Mount Vernon at the 45 of Paul Pewitt. Johnson gets loose around the left side.
So 2 plays in 2 different ways to see Chuck Johnson with the ball. That one on a run around the left side. Has enough awareness. He was darting in the hole just off the left tackle, but it closed quickly, and he has enough speed to break to the outside. He picked up another 10 yards. We'll call it 11 as they mark it just inside the 35-yard line.
And that was a nice run by Johnson. He's deceptive in the backfield with his speed. He gets to the end a lot quicker than you might think a big fella like that will. Chris Munn on the tackle. Mount Vernon first down to the 35 of Paul Pewitt. Johnson in motion. There comes the pass again to Johnson. 3 Pewitt defenders converge. There goes a flag. So we'll have to see what happens there, but the ball does get inside the 30 to about the 27.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to get one of the Mount Vernon Tigers for an illegal block in the back. At first, he was starting in pretty good shape, and then the players ran by him, and in his effort to get the block, he hit them after they came by him. So that's going to negate a good play for the Tigers, but if it's a spot foul, then it's still going to be first down, but they're going to mark it off from the 32-yard line, so that'll put it back on the 42, making it a first down and an unusual 17 yards to go.
So the illegal block temporarily puts a hiatus on Mount Vernon's drive, but they're at the 42.
We'll call it about 18 yards to go. That's unusual, 1st and 18.
1st and 18 is definitely unusual.
Trips to the right for Mount Vernon now with Meeks, the man under. They give it to Chuck Johnson on reverse to the left. He's going to make one move and then another, but runs out of room as the Paul Pewitt Brahmas converge on Johnson. He's going to pick up about 7 yards, though.
Robert, that was number 77, Joe Cobbins, the defensive end, who caused Johnson to break up there, but number 10, Kedrick Wright, got a hand in and brought him down.
I know Coach Meeks was impressed with him. He told me to kind of watch number 77, you'll see a player. And right there, he showed some of his abilities.
Cobbins, a senior, started and did a great job for us last year. There's Johnson. Whoa!
Ball on the ground as they were trying to work with Chuck Johnson coming back around and evidently going to fake the reverse. But convergence by the Paul Pewitt Brahmas, probably on a stunt, had Ricky Joe Meeks cornered, and he dropped the ball, but an alert Tiger pounced on the ball and brings up a 3rd down for the Tigers.
Hard to say. The loss, I think, was about 7 on the play.
Now they're back where they were when they had the penalty. 3rd down and about 18 yards or 19 yards to go for the Tigers.
Trips right for Mount Vernon.
No backs, twins to the left, trips to the right.
This is the way to play Paul Pewitt, and then
Quarterback draw and
gets down to
Meeks.
31.
Now that's going to be interesting. Now you're kind of close to 4-down territory here. You could pooch punt, maybe put them deep. But I think the idea for Coach Meeks is one of the best ways to have a good defense is to keep your offense on the field against the Brahmas. Keep their offense on the sideline.
Got a 4th down and about 8, or a long 7 perhaps. Ball sitting at the 31-yard line, let's call it. And Mount Vernon will definitely go for it early in the game.
Got them spread across the field.
Looking for the
There's the pass, and got it. And that's a great pass and reception.
Excellent play to the 16-yard line.
That's Andy Willis, the receiver, on a little slant pattern. And a nice big play, just like Paul Pewitt had on their 4th down, picked up the 1st down deep in the territory. The Mount Vernon Tigers, the same thing, 4th down and 7, they pick up the 1st down. Ball resting on about the 16-yard line.
16 it is. And the Tigers are moving. There goes
That's Martin McCormick with the ball, the one back, the fullback, and he just runs off right tackle, gains up to about the 10-yard line, a pickup of 6 on the play.
6 yards to the 10. Bring down a second down and, we'll say 4 again. It's going to be a long 3 or 4. Hard to tell from this angle. Pewitt backed up to his 10-yard line.
An impressive opening drive by the Tigers, trying to match Paul Pewitt on their ability to get into the end zone on their first attempt with the ball of the night. 4 minutes, 19 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
There goes Johnson off tackle. He's wrapped up, but he gets a good yard.
I think he's going to get the first down to about the 5-yard line. The spot over here looks like just inside the 5-yard line. We might even call it the 4-yard line. It's going to be first and goal for Mount Vernon.
Number 77, Otis Thomas.
Nice
Joe
delay.
Collins made a tackle again. It's going to be another first down for Mount Vernon.
The delay draw to Chuck Johnson there. And I think he was stopped early on by several of the Paul Pewitt Brahmas, but his momentum carried them with him. And I think he lunged for it and maybe even fell for an extra yard or 2.
Johnson's a good-looking back, Robert. And I like Meeks, too. He's got some size for a sophomore.
Sophomore quarterback. Chuck Johnson, a junior tailback.
They meet. That's 32.
That's Martin McCormick off left tackle this time. Flag, I'm not sure. Sometimes that should be defensively, because if it was offensively, they would have stopped the play before it started.
Let's see what they do.
Offside.
Offsides against
Paul Pewitt. Feel like they'd probably take the penalty and make it first and goal from about the 2-yard line just to save that down. I mean, it was a nice play, but I think you're going to gain about the same yardage with the penalty as you would the play, so let's save the down, take the penalty. Half the
So
distance.
the penalty is marked off half the distance. Call it about 2.5 or 3 yards on the penalty.
From the angle here, looks like a long 2 yards to go for the score.
Still first and goal for the Tigers.
Out of the I formation now. Out of the I formation with now a new tailback. That's Brian Smith. In motion, Kastner. The give to Brian Smith, and he's stopped for about a 2-yard loss. So what we gained on the penalty, we lost on the next play. So second down on the 5-yard line.
That's our 300-pound nose guard. He's a senior. Miles Stultz made the tackle. That was a pretty quick move for a big man, and it moves it back to the 5-yard line.
Second and goal on the 5 for Mount Vernon. Again, a fast-moving first quarter, 2 drives, and there's only 3 minutes remaining here in the quarter. Meeks the man under with an I formation for the Tigers. The give to the tailback again. He bounces outside. He makes a nice move to avoid tackling.
Nice moves by that tailback.
Yes. Brian Smith juking and diving and twisting, and he made a short gain out of what could have been a pretty good-sized loss.
That's at least 2 yards for 45.
So a nice run for Brian Smith. Made that play smell a little bit better than what it looked like to start with.
So the Tigers are knocking with 2:20 left in the quarter.
Third down goal.
But hasn't broke, and it's third down.
Smith in motion.
Nice play.
Nice play. He just overthrew the tight end. A quick throw to Mahan.
On the inside, and the ball was there, but it looks like Chris Munn might have been in Mahan's way.
So a big play now. Fourth down and goal for Mount Vernon. Oh, there's a flag on the play.
Yeah, it was offsides. The same official called this one again.
It was Chris Munn who broke up the pass play.
That's a
So they'll
big
move the
break for
ball.
Mount Vernon.
They'll move the ball about 1.5 yards.
So it's not many times you're going to have 6 downs inside the 5-yard line to try to score. But a break for Mount Vernon as the pass fell incomplete on a good play broken up by Munn. And the offsides detected gives the Mount Vernon Tigers 2 more chances to knock on the goal line.
Third down for the 2. Meeks brings the Tigers up to the line.
Kastner, the man in motion. The give to McCormick off tackle, and he scores. And that's going to be a 6-6 tie with 2:02 remaining here in the first quarter. Right off tackle, Mark McCormick for 6.
Nice run by McCormick. He was wrapped up about the goal line, or about the 1 yard line, but pushed his way in. Excellent play. Mount Vernon ties it up.
Felix Brinkert will be attempting the extra point out of the hold by Joseph Kastner. Matt Wilhite snapping the ball. It's down, it's up, looks fairly good from here, and the officials agree, and so it's 7-6 lead now for the Mount Vernon Tigers with 2:02 remaining here in the first quarter. Bob, that was a great drive to answer by Mount Vernon after Paul Pewitt just opened it up and kicked it down our throat. We took it right back at them and had some big plays also.
Good play call by Mount Vernon. The passing by Ricky Joe Meeks, the run by Johnson, and then McCormick showed a lot on his runs too.
That's number 45. That's Brian Smith. And then Chuck Johnson, both those backs, they'll kind of relieve each other. Chuck Johnson, a junior, and for Mount Vernon, number 45, that's Brian Smith, also a junior. So both those will be back next year, along with the sophomore quarterback, which is Ricky Joe Meeks, which is Coach Meeks' son. I guess he's been around the football field quite a bit, I would imagine.
His way around the football field, that's for sure.
And so a 7-6 ball game, the difference being the extra point missed early on by the Brahmas and a conversion by the Tigers by Felix Brinkert, who now tees the ball up as Mount Vernon will put the ball back in play with Paul Pewitt deep for the kick return.
Keeter Wright, Nigel Franklin are deep. O.J. Madlock, Desmond Jones are up back. The kicker falls down as Madlock takes the ball and cuts back, reverses his field. He's up to the 40, to the 45, makes another cutback, and is mowed down again by 45 of Mount Vernon.
A nice return, and there's nothing you can substitute for speed. When you have it and you use it, that's one thing that Mount Vernon's not blessed with, is just out-and-out speed. We have kids who will try to cover their territory real well, but if we're going to line up and run against the backs from Paul Pewitt, we're not going to win very many, if any, of the races.
So Paul Pewitt sets up about the 48-yard line. 1:50 left in the quarter. Munn at quarterback keeps the ball, is trying to pass. He gets the ball off, and that's 85. Ishmael Wilkerson, the tight end, hauls it in at the 25 and is brought down about the 22-yard line.
30 yards on a pass play, and a nice bootleg by the Paul Pewitt Brahmas on the first play now. After having a lot of success running, they open it up to the airways and catch Mount Vernon just a little bit short in the coverage.
Well, Munn was surrounded by Mount Vernon Tigers and got enough time to get the pass off. Ishmael is 6'5", makes for a big target downfield. And there's going to be a penalty against Paul Pewitt. The back on the left side, that would be Shepard, clinched before the play started, and they got him, so it's going to be 5 yards back.
So far, sometimes the worst enemy that Paul Pewitt's had has been the penalties that they've come up with. A couple offsides in a crucial situation down on the goal line, and now just put you back 1st and 15. They've been able to convert it before, but you just like 1st and 10 better than 1st and 15.
Pewitt has had some early problems with penalties. Did a good job last week. As Munn gets them started, 1:16 left in the quarter. Desmond Jones out of the backfield, turns up the field, and if there's no flags, he's gone.
The quick pitch to the right side, and just no substitute for the speed and the good blocks on the outside, which cut the cornerback and the defensive end down. So from 32 yards out, Paul Pewitt regains the lead at 12-7 right now with 1:09 remaining in the first quarter.
Jones has been waiting all year to break out. He's got the speed and he's got the strength. He bench presses almost 300 pounds. And it's always been up to Jones to take his rightful place as one of the leaders on this football team. So there's going to be a timeout on the field. Paul Pewitt is a little confused. They're going to get together with the coaches and talk it out. This broadcast is protected by copyright laws and is the property of FVP Network Incorporated, Channel 54, and may not be rebroadcast or reproduced without written permission of FVP Network Incorporated, Channel 54. Anyone interested in a video copy of this game should contact Channel 54 at 903-572-4351. Videos are available for $15, tax included. So, Robert, it looks like it's going to be one of them kind of games. Maybe the team that has the ball last wins.
Well, as far as Mount Vernon's concerned, they've got to keep that offense off the field as much as possible. Either get turnovers or have good defensive stand to get the ball back, because you combine that speed with the execution, and Mount Vernon has had a little trouble in stopping it tonight. But they have answered back. The first time they had a time-consuming drive. In fact, it took, looks like 6 minutes, right at 6 minutes for their drive, where Paul Pewitt on their first drive took a little less than 4 minutes, and his last one just a little less than 1 minute. So Mount Vernon's had the ball 6 minutes to 5 minutes, but are behind 12-7.
So it's down to the defensive coordinators trying to figure this one out.
Paul Pewitt going for two now after missing the first extra point. They're going to line up in their regular wing T formation.
Munn turns and kicks the ball, gets it out to Jones, but Jones is hauled down by two Mount Vernon Tigers. Chuck Johnson was one of them.
So maybe that's what Mount Vernon needs a little bit. They've done well on holding him from the 3-yard line. That was just a play that you'd like to do out in the middle of the field. A good play by the defense there as they swarmed in a hurry to stop the Paul Pewitt Brahma from the goal line. That might be a difference somewhere down the line. 12-7 after two missed extra points. So that means Paul Pewitt's going to have to scramble back on their extra points now.
Right.
And, Mount Vernon's got to try to figure out how to keep them from attempting extra points at this point.
Traditionally, we haven't been a good kicking team, but Mo Hawkins last year was excellent. And now with the injury this year and no one to back him up, apparently, it's been difficult to say the least. And Coach Bickham does like to go for 2 points when he's down after he's missed an extra point.
Especially after the other team's converted their one extra point, you have to get that 1 point missed back plus the one you're scoring on right now to try to take and put the pressure on the other team to call the extra point conversion, whether they need to go for 2 for the win or 1 for the tie.
It always comes down to one of them 14-12, 16-14 time football games when you miss them. Hawkins is going to kick off for Paul Pewitt. Johnson is deep with Brian Smith. And there goes to the 5-yard line.
It's Brian Smith with the ball back up the middle, and he slips and falls. He's going to be down. He was trying to make a cutback at about the 22-yard line, and his feet went out from under him.
It's unfortunate. He made a really nice cut. The only thing that could have saved the touchdown was the fact that he did go down, and then we had a handful of jersey.
Well, there was a crease over here on the side. If he'd have been able to keep his feet, it would have been interesting to see the results of that run, because he found a big opening on this right side.
So Mount Vernon gets the ball at the 21. A minute left in the quarter. It's been action-packed. And we'll see if Pewitt can do anything about Chuck Johnson and those two receivers and Ricky Joe Meeks.
In the shotgun formation now for the Tigers. The shuttle pass, but that's not going to go anywhere.
Pass did not work too well. Looks like a 2-yard loss, Robert.
That was number 80 for the Brahmas. Adrian Coffey was right there running long parallel with Johnson, and we caught it. All he had to do was just wrap up and drop him for the loss.
Adrian, one of our backup ends, has done a real good job stepping in there and playing next to our nose guard. He's got a lot of good size. He's 6'3", about 200 pounds. He's playing in at tackle now as the linebacker moves up. Meeks looking to pass, and it's going to fall incomplete.
Off the hands of Jason Mahan, the tight end, as he was dragging across underneath. Meeks not able really just to set up. He was throwing on the run and probably a little crisp and just a little high.
And Stoltz, the nose guard, the 300-pounder, actually he's about 335 pounds, was chasing him. And Miles is not known for his blinding speed, but somebody that big chasing you might get you to going.
Trips to the right for the Tigers, and Twins to the left, and now we have a flag over there, so I'm not sure who stepped up or moved. But
like
since it's before the play got off, it's a possibility of an offensive penalty.
Looks like the little receiver on the far side over there was looking. He was looking at the official like, I made my mark and I set up on yours. What's the problem?
Right. And from where he is, it's a little bit of distance over there to the official, so he's trying to mark as best he can. But evidently he fudged just a little bit and got caught. So it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, bring up 3rd down and 17 now.
Mt Vernon from the 14-yard line, Meeks in the shotgun.
Whoa, high snap.
He handles the snap really well, does a good job. Gets the pass off, and it's going to be incomplete. He was hurried by the Brahmas. Looks like several of them in there. Adrian Coffey and Miles Stoltz among them.
That's going to bring up 4th down for Mt Vernon. Ball resting on the 14-yard line. So the Brahmas will probably come out of this possession with pretty good field position. Meeks also the punter as well as the quarterback.
So if we're going to have number 10, Kedrick Wright, deep for us. Everybody else is staying up. They don't trust Meeks, the quarterback or the coach for that matter. We have been burned once. Meeks is going to get the punt out. It's a good job, too, as Wright takes the ball at the 46 of Mt Vernon, gets a little weave and bob in there, and ends up at the 38.
Cody Newsom.
And that's the end of the quarter. We'll be right back.
Freddy's Auto Repair, Highway 144, 1 mile south of Omaha, is a proud Brahma booster. Freddie Joyner has 34 years experience, with 15 of those years as an ASE Master Certified Mechanic. Freddie does all types of general and automotive repair and in engine rebuilding. They're also high performance and rear axle specialists. They offer the latest computer diagnostics. Freddie's Auto Repair, located 1 mile south of Omaha on Highway 144. Freddie's Auto Repair, another Brahma Pride supporter. First National Bank of Hughes Springs, Omaha office, offering free checking, senior citizens accounts, check card, debit card service for your checking account, personal loans, home equity loans, real estate loans, 24-hour customer service. Our lobby is open 9 to 3 Monday through Thursday and until 5:30 on Friday. Our drive-thru is open 8:30 to 3 Monday through Thursday and until 5:30 on Friday. First National Bank of Hughes Springs, Omaha office, a Brahma Pride supporter. S-Mart of Omaha, Highway 67 and 259, another Brahma Pride booster. Open 24 hours forever. We feature gasoline and diesel, fresh delicious food from our deli, soft drinks, milk, bread, and snacks. Friendly people waiting to serve you at our checkout counter. Need to rent a movie? Look at our big selection. And we own our own laundromat right next door. We're a proud Brahma Pride booster. S-Mart, open 24 hours forever for all of your convenience store needs. Highway 259 and 67 in Omaha.
Okay, ball's at the 38. Paul Pewitt driving again. Mt Vernon, there's, looks like somebody was moving along the line. I couldn't tell who it was. The flag came in a little late.
So that's going to bring up 5 yards against the Brahmas and move them back 1st and 15. Looks like it'll run from about the 44-yard line now.
Illegal procedure is the call.
Illegal procedure call against Weymouth.
Ball back to the 44. Paul Pewitt will try it again. Well, Pewitt gets the early break as the quarter, or just before the end of the quarter when they forced a punt out of Mt Vernon. Now Mt Vernon looking to return the favor.
Twin receivers on the right.
2 receivers, that's Madlock in motion, right, his left on the right.
Nothing going right here as it's sniffed out by several of the Tigers. Brandon Weatherford, Derek Watson, Mark Fountain.
Ball brought down by
One other. I'm not sure the other. There are 4 of them back there.
Terrion Shepard had the ball. It looked like Chris Munn didn't want to let go and held up Terrion, and they got no gain. They might have gained about 6 inches on the play.
If you take a look, I think the center might have been pushed back a little bit and caught the leg of your quarterback because he was kind of stumbling going down as he was trying to mesh with the fullback.
Well, that's that nose guard again. That wears the un-nose guard-like number of 25.
That's Chris English for the Tigers.
Munn going to try the quick pass to Wright. Wright is down inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line.
Stopped by Cody Newsom and Mark Fountain.
Going to come up short of the first down.
Pick up about 11 yards. Looks like third down, about 4.
A long 4 at the 33-yard line. Nice quick pass to Wright. Wright has some good moves and speed, but couldn't get away with that from that defensive back. So there goes
A hand sweep.
Shepard, makes a nice
move
inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line.
Definitely a nice move. I don't
short.
know who came up, but he took care of both the blockers, and he was just left out there stranded, but only because of his athletic talent was he able to convert that back into any positive yardage.
About 3 yards on the carry, ball placed right on the 30-yard line, where it's 4th down and 1 for the Bombers.
4th and 1 for Paul Pewitt. Shepard has gotten started late in each of the last 2 games. He's been a good second half back, but we need him to show up early, just like the rest of the team. A loss of 29-28 and 29-24 the last 2 weeks.
Going for it right here. A big 4th down play for Paul Pewitt. The quarterback just takes it and steps right off the right guard, and he's going to pick up the first down.
That was Chris Munn. He went right behind his center, Quinn Coffey. Coffey gets him down. That's a good 4-yard gain and a first down.
On the 26-yard line, 1st and 10
So the
for
Brahmins
the Bombers.
set up at the 26. Still 9 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in the half. There goes Desmond Jones, makes a good move, gets a good block from Shepard.
And
There goes
there's
a flag.
Chuck Johnson flying in from a free safety spot and about took his head off.
He was wrapped up at number 14. The name initially and Joseph Kastner.
Must be a holding or illegal block out there.
Paul Pewitt is advancing to the rear in anticipation of the mark-off holding against the Brahmins.
Call against the Bombers.
Ball's going to be marked off from about the 24-yard line.
That's going to bring up one of those rather unusual first down calls. Looks like it's going to bring up first down and 16.
Yep, I think you're pretty close to right on that.
17.
They're going to give the runner, Desmond Jones, got about 2 yards,
3-yard penalty.
and they marked it off into his run, so that sets up a first down. And
That's 17 or 18, looks like.
yeah, it's a nice long one. Inside the 35, Chris Munn's going to pass. He's got a receiver. Kedrick Wright.
A great catch. What a great catch, because he was covered well.
And that was number 22 covering him down
That's
there.
Cody Newsom for the Tigers.
And don't blame Freddie. I
No.
was just an all-around great play from the
Cody
34
Newsom.
to the 4.
Looks like a 4.
30 yards.
That was good coverage defensively, but just a spectacular catch.
So Freddie has got to be wondering what happened, and it just come up with Kedrick Wright's hands, and he's got some hands. He's not a big fella. He's our backup quarterback, too.
Out of the power eye, give it to Desmond Jones, and he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Might squeeze a yard out of it.
He didn't have anywhere to go once he got the ball. All he saw was that sea of white down there with some purple numbers. So he just went as far as he could, and that was about it. Pewitt sets up the 4-yard line with 8:28 to go in the half.
Again, in a power eye formation, 2 tight ends. Higher football, give it to Desmond again, and he's going to be wrapped up the second time. Same result as the first play. This time that's Chris English. That's the nose guard.
Give him a yard loss on that one. Thanks to
So,
Mr. English.
Chris English from his nose guard position sprints through and wraps up Desmond Jones for a loss. And so a good stand right here for the Tigers. Third down and 5.
From the 5. Excuse me, Robert.
Go ahead. It's just exciting when you get down here. Both wanting to say something because both teams are performing well, just like we expected.
Pewitt has gone to Ishmael Wilkerson, the tight end in these situations. We'll see if it's going to work this time. But no, they give it to the back.
Oh, there's a stand-up and a form tackle, drive him back and lay him down. Martin McCormick finishing him off. Somebody had him around the feet where he couldn't go. Martin McCormick just drives him back over the top. Fourth down 1, and Coach Bickham wants to call a timeout and talk about what it is to get this 1 or 2 yards and cross the pay dirt.
Well, the ball was at the 5. They're marking it about the 2-yard line, so Quincy Webster, the sophomore, gets about 3 yards, but he was stood up and taught a lesson by that Mount Vernon defense.
Well, while we have this timeout, we'll take a look at some of the things coming up here on Channel 54 Sports. You're going to see a replay of this game at 8 o'clock on Tuesday, and the way it's been going, it might be worthwhile to watch the replay. Also at 7 o'clock, just before the game, there's a Channel 54 exclusive presentation of the spiritual heritage of the U.S. Capitol. So catch that before this ball game on the replay. And then on Thursday at 8 o'clock, they're going to show that special again of the spiritual heritage of the U.S. Capitol. I'll get my tongue working here in a minute. So if you can, I'm not sure about all the things that are happening on Channel 54. If you have access to the internet, you will find their website at channel54central.com, and you can log on there and find out the broadcast of your favorite team and some of the other specials coming up.
Okay, Mount Vernon is back on the field, ready to play some ball. It's 4th down and like 2 yards to go. Make it 4th down and goal for Paul Pewitt as they come back on the field after conferring with the coaches. I think they're going to have to go wide or pass because you're messing with that inside of Mount Vernon, and they're not giving up much.
Out of the power eye, so they're going to try to force it in by power or fake it and pass to the end, who's sneaking out. And they're going to try to creep to the corner. And he's going to give him the score as he reached just inside the pylon.
Well, Chris Munn took the ball. He had Ishmael Wilkerson on that tight end play that they score a lot on, wide open. But Chris elected to keep the ball and see if he could outrace the Mount Vernon defense to the pylon, and he just barely did.
Yeah, that's one of those judgment calls by the official, but he might have snuck the ball just inside the pylon. I'm not sure his body went there, but he extended his arms and got the football just inside the pylon before he was rolled up onto the track.
So Chris Munn scores with 7:10 left in the half on a 2-yard run. Hawkins kicks it right straight up in the air, but he misses it. And it went about a mile. So the point again. No. So it's 18-7, Paul Pewitt. And Mo Hawkins' kick could have brought rain. He just got under it a lot. It went straight up in the air. The officials had to look at it and check the radar before they decided it wasn't any good.
That's probably pretty good. It was high. He has got a leg. If he could just put that right in the middle of the ball, we'd probably be picking it out of a windshield somewhere down the way.
So Mount Vernon comes back on the field. They want to get the ball back. 7:10 left in the second quarter. Pewitt coming on the field. Hawkins, looks like Hawkins is going to kick off. Number 80, Tootie Coffee, has a strong leg, but Hawkins is a regular kicker, and it looks like his ankle problems are about over because he's kicked some pretty strong balls tonight, and that's good for us.
Well, we'll find out now if he gets the meat of the ball, as he's got a good leg, as you can tell from the attempts he's had at the extra point. He's got some receivers down there, and Chuck Johnson, Joseph Kastner, and Brian Smith deep. The officials whistled the ball ready for play. And he approached the ball, and yes, well, it's a little low and a spiral. I don't know how you get that out of there, but
Johnson takes the ball at the 12-yard line, comes right up the middle, and just about everybody on the field meets at that point, and Johnson gets it up to the 35-yard line.
So a really good field position for the Tigers as they start this possession. So the Tigers now need to try to take this possession and answer back. It still would be pretty close. It's 18-7. Score here still puts them in real close position to tie or take the lead.
Mount Vernon at the 35. Man in motion.
Nice run. Martin McCormick, the lone back.
Martin McCormick, excuse me, brought down by Munn at the 42-yard line. That's a 7-yard gain.
That's the same thing. Some of the defensive coaches sure don't like the name of your free safety mentioned very many times, but if it weren't for the free safety on that play, it would have been 6 points for the Tigers.
There was a gaping hole ready for Mr. Martin McCormick. We've got some good-looking backs in Mount Vernon this year. Good-looking backs. And Johnson gets the ball, hits the end. There's nobody there. Keeter Christ slows him down. He gets the ball inside Pewitt territory to about the 45.
So he's going to pick up close to 15 yards on that play. We'll probably call it from the spot. About 14 yards on a play for Chuck Johnson.
And Chuck and Chris are going to get to know each other real well tonight, looks like. Good blocking along the right side of the Mount Vernon line that time. No Pewitt player close when Johnson hit the line.
And the draw back to the side. No gain on a play on this one. That one had gone for big yards before.
That's Desmond Jones stops Johnson for no gain. Meeks is kind of flipping that ball up in a fake and then giving it back to Johnson, and about half the Pewitt team is buying that. And Johnson is a junior running back.
Both the tailbacks for Mount Vernon this year are both juniors, Brian Smith, Chuck Johnson.
Good
so
looking back.
They're getting a lot of good experience here right now. And you put Chris English at fullback sometime, and you have 3 underclassmen in the backfield.
So Meeks has the Tigers going at the 45. He's going to pass. Nice fake. Man is open.
Oh, that's right in the hands right there. That was a great pass. Nice route, good protection for Meeks on this one. That's one you just shake your hands because you know it hits you right in the numbers.
And Mahan knew it. He was very upset when he dropped that one.
Yes, he had first down yardage plus some on that play because the coverage broke down in the secondary for Paul Pewitt that time. But a lot of good time for Meeks to set up and find a receiver.
Meeks' fake on that play was big time good. He had everybody looking in several different directions when he on the play action. This time he's deep in the shotgun. 4 wide.
Whoa, and that's a bad snap
over his head. Meeks makes the nice play to get the ball back, gets a pass off, and the ball is complete. That's McCormick, but it's only going to be for a slight gain.
About 1 yard, but that's probably the best gain we've had all night from that snap. So 4th down, I would assume at this point we're going to punt the ball and try to pin the Brahmas deep and hope that we find a way defensively to slow them down and get the ball back to get the offense a chance to score.
Well, the clock is running, 4:48, 4:47 left in the half. Meeks is going to kick it. Nobody is dropping deep for Paul Pewitt. Again, it's a case of trust. And finally, Munn drops back, and Meeks gets.
Oh, there's a nice punt. That one's. If it'll just die.
And it did.
Oh, it did, but it had backspin.
Pewitt bounce.
I was hoping it just dropped straight down and bounced straight up, but it took a Paul Pewitt bounce.
Matter of fact, we got about 4 yards out of that deal.
About the worst field position Paul Pewitt's had to start their series off, though, and so maybe a little fortune smile on the Mount Vernon defense and see if they can find a way to shut them down.
Paul Pewitt will take over at the 14-yard line. 4:23 left to go. You folks have to excuse me. I'm stepping over Robert all over the place. I'm kind of used to being here by myself and having my own self.
Well, I'm stepping all over you, too, so we're going to be bruised before the game's over. But it's exciting. It's a good game.
We knew it would be, though. When Mount Vernon comes, and that's Desmond Jones on the run to the, let's say 17. Give him 3.
Tackle looks like by McCormick and Holman from their linebacker spots. That's
Want
one
to
of
know the truth about Mount Vernon over here at Paul Pewitt is we just absolutely hate to see the Purple Tigers on the field. There was a time there when we just couldn't beat them, no matter what we tried.
Well, it was about a 4-year streak.
From 1994 to last year, and we finally won one last year. It was driving people crazy over here. So Munn brings the Pewitt up to the line, gives the ball off to Jones, and Jones is stopped for a very short game if he gets anything. I don't think he's going to get a gain out of it.
Number 15,
Brandon Weatherford in on a tackle along with, looks like Maurice Holman possibly to finish it off.
No gain on the play.
3rd down and 7. That's probably the worst position they've had for a 3rd down play since the game started.
So O.J. Madlock comes out of the game to take a breather. Shepard and Jones in the backfield with Wright and Johnson split to the right. There's going to be a pass. Munn's looking for it. Gets the pass off. And
In and out of the hands of 2 receivers. Brian Smith for the Tigers. And I think that's number 10, Kendrick Wright, or Kedrick Wright, who went off his hands too. So that's what Mount Vernon was hoping for, pin them deep and then get the ball back, hopefully in good field position, as they finally found a way in 3 downs to stop and force 3 and out for the Brahmas.
So let's see who punts. It looks like Hawkins was healthy, but we're going to let Munn do the punting this week. He's been doing it for the last 3 weeks.
Munn to punt to Mundy, the receiver. Deep for Mount Vernon, Michael Mundy. That's a high over there. That's going to be out of the end zone. 2 points. And so a free 2 points for the Tigers, and now they're probably going to have a penalty too, be half the distance for illegal kicking the ball.
Illegally kicking the ball, but that's going to be 2 points.
It looks like it's going to be marked off again. I'm not sure if it's one of those on the penalty, that it's just going to be disregarded. We have the option of the safety or the penalty, or if it's going to be assessed on the kick, which would move it from the 20, they would have to kick it from the 10 as half the distance for the goal line, because now Paul Pewitt's going to have to kick off or punt to the Tigers as a result of the safety. So a high snap, that's just one of those things that Mount Vernon was hoping for, put them deep in their territory and see if they can get a break. So the safety is called.
The penalty is declined.
The ball is declined. The safety score for the Mount Vernon Tigers.
So the bad snap over Munn's head cost Paul Pewitt 2 points.
Could have been worse, though. It could have died, and
definitely-
with him and his back to what was happening behind him, one of the Tigers slipping there and fall on the ball before it went out of the end zone, and 6 points instead of 2.
Well, I guess we'll take the lesser of the 2 evils.
Yeah.
And
But
an
that
18-9 lead.
brings it to 18-9, so still it has to be 2 scores for the Tigers, so it wasn't one of those killers that allowed them to have a chance to score and catch up on the next, I guess, attempt across the goal line.
That's a 17-yard loss. Goes on the team stats for Paul Pewitt. Won't make the rushing stats look very good. And we're going to kick it off. Looks like Adrian Coffey, who does have a nice strong leg, if he gets his leg into the ball, is going to kick off from the 20-yard line.
Tigers lining up with their regular receivers back deep. You have Chris Johnson deep in the middle, Brian Smith on the far side, Joseph Kastner on the near side, Maurice Holman up short in the middle.
Coffey's going to kick the ball. He gets a hold of it. It's going to be a nice kick. It's going to be fielded and bobbled at about the 33-yard line by Johnson. Johnson takes a look, gets wide.
Gets to the sidelines.
And finally, there's just too many dramas over there. But he does get into Paul Pewitt territory.
Hold it. We've got a flag on the field. So we're going to see what the flag is up here about the 31-yard line of the Brahmas. We'll see if that's an illegal block by the Tigers and push them further back now out of good field position.
O.J. Madlock says It's against Mount Vernon, and the official confirms that. Legal block in the back.
That'll move it back to the 41-yard line of Mount Vernon's end of the field. So they'll set up shop about 10 yards further back than they could have.
They would have been in Paul Pewitt territory about the 49-yard line. Johnson made a real nice move as he got up to the line. Like I said earlier, he has that deceptive speed and an ability to get to where everybody else isn't.
And still has another year to go, plus half of this year, and hopefully some playoff experience. That'd be nice to see the Mount Vernon Tigers find their way back into the playoffs this year.
It would be. Mount Vernon takes over across the 40 to almost the 41.
Martin McCormick, nice run. He bumped into his own blocker and slowed him down as he had a nice crease off the right guard, between right guard and tackle. He's picking up about 7 yards on the play.
A good run right up the middle by McCormick. He's a tough runner, got good speed, but when he hits the line, you better be ready for him.
Up front, you have the center, Stephen Stroman. On the right side, you're going to have Alexis Casildo and C.T. Baird. And on the left side, you're going to have
there's the pass. It's going to be for a short gain as Jones and Shepard gain tackle the receiver.
Tackle made by Desmond Jones. There's a flag.
on the left side will be Josue Maldonado and Matt Wilhite. And Mount Vernon takes a timeout with 1 minute 56 seconds remaining here in the half, and a big third down play coming up for the Tigers.
About a yard loss on that play. It looked like it was going to start real well, but the Pewitt got to the receiver before he could get turned around. So they're back to about the 46-yard line.
You might have to call that possibly a loss of 1 because it was second down and 4. Now it's third down, and it looks like 5 coming up for the Tigers.
1:56 left in the quarter. The bands are coming around to get ready to perform. We had little cheerleaders here tonight. I think you saw those a while ago. The Pewitt band is already down there. And the Pewitt cheerleaders are getting the fans going. Under 2 minutes left. It's 18-9. Paul Pewitt leads at this point. And Mount Vernon is definitely ready. They're lined up. Martin McCormick and Chuck Johnson, or Martin McCormick's in the backfield. That's Ricky Joe Meeks, the quarterback. Chuck Johnson's lined up inside.
Slot to the left from Cody Newsom. Or that's Andy Willis, not Cody Newsom. It looks like it's going to be enough for a first down as the ball is given to McCormick. Again, either off right or left guard, just fairly straight ahead running. Pickup of about 6 yards. Now it moves it into the Brahmas into the field at about the 48-yard line.
A good run by McCormick. Several Pewitt Brahmas in on that. Jonathan Stoltz over there on that side. Tootie Coffey and Mo Hawkins. Another good fake by Meeks. He lines it up.
And it is to Mahan this time.
This time Mahan makes the catch.
Holds on to the ball.
25.
The same pass pattern that they ran before to the other side comes back this time, and he holds on to the ball. Nice reception, nice run, brings it down to the 23-yard line.
And that's a 26-yard gain for Mount Vernon. Definitely got that first down as the chains move. The clock says 1:28. Meeks is all alone in the backfield when he throws the ball, thanks to his fakes. And there goes Johnson.
Enough speed to get to the outside, and he runs with some authority right there. Just lower that shoulder. He's going to have to learn to lower that shoulder right at the end to keep him taking some shots on those knees. But a great run. He picked up more than 15 yards on a play.
He's down to the 5. That's an 18-yard gain for him.
Nice run. Just use some speed. Again, like I say, deceptive speed. You really don't look at him as being fast, but when you try to catch him, he just takes some of the angles away from you.
Well, I've been watching him on TV on Channel 54, and I noticed last week that he had that good speed to the end, to the corner. The officials.
Whistle on the play. And evidently either there might be some blood on the player because they don't let them stay out there, or they detected something that they're sending number 77 for the Brahmas to the sideline. That's Otis Cobbins.
Will be charged to Paul Pewitt. Lucas Ashley's going to take Joe's place. Don't know what the situation was on that one.
We have a manager running back here to get something that's necessary for him to return to action, so we're not sure right now what the call is, but the official noticed something, immediately blew the whistle, and told him he must leave the game, and something's got to be exchanged or corrected before he can get back into play.
And this is not the time we need to lose Joe Cobbins on the line. Now with the ball at the 5, Mount Vernon knocking at the door with 1:01 left and a half.
Well, that's a timeout called by Mount Vernon as they whistled now. I thought it might have been Paul Pewitt, or the officials called Paul Pewitt for the timeout, but he just now whistled Mount Vernon as having used up all their timeouts. He probably could if he has. He could go back in if he had the material ready. I'm not sure what those managers, they were running and hustling to get to the field house for something, so we'll just have to wait and maybe find out from somebody later what it was that they noticed. Anyway, Mount Vernon called the timeout, and that was their last one for the half. They only have 1 minute and 1 second left, and they've got 5 yards to go for the touchdown.
Nose of the ball is just at the 5-yard line.
So it's first and goal, ball on the 5-yard line for the Mount Vernon Tigers.
We'll find out if the Tigers go at where Cobbins was, see if his backup will be able to hold it, and they certainly do.
Has the ball.
And he's not going to get but about a yard, maybe 2 on the play. They're going to have to. This ought to be interesting because I thought he said that.
Timeout.
Desmond Jones,
I thought he had said that Mount Vernon had called all their timeouts.
timeout for the Tigers.
Maybe it was Paul Pewitt's timeout. He pointed toward Mount Vernon, but he whistled it 3 times like that was all the timeouts available for that particular team.
Well, I saw him point to Paul Pewitt when the timeout was first called. Then he pointed over to Mount Vernon, but nobody was on the field. I couldn't figure out what it was.
And he blew the whistle and pumped those arms 3 times, meaning there's no more timeouts for that team. And I thought that was Mount Vernon. I thought, this will be interesting to call a timeout now when you don't have any. But evidently it was Paul Pewitt that used it up on the last play, and now Mount Vernon will use their timeout, and he hasn't whistled it. That's the 3rd one.
So the Purple Tigers will have the ball just outside that 3-yard marker, or 2.5 yard, wherever that mark is. They're back on the field ready to play some football.
Well, they tried to exploit where Cobbins was. They went right back at his spot
So
to try to
Pewitt
see
goes
if
back out. There's Munn.
there's any weakness, but evidently not.
2 Stoltzes are in there. Shepard, Wright, Quincy Webster at linebacker. O.J. Madlock at linebacker. Turion Shepard.
Chris Evans or Paul Robertson in there for Cobbins.
And
there
there's
comes
a
a
flag on the
flag.
play.
Flag on the play, is it whistled in? Call it
Illegal procedure against Mount Vernon.
Now Mount Vernon's burning themselves a little bit right here with an inappropriate penalty.
That's not what a coach likes to see down that in the red zone, as they say.
Yeah, you're on the 3-yard line fixing to go in with an important score right before half, and you come out from a timeout nonetheless and make the mistake. That's what gives coaches gray hairs.
Johnson could get the ball around the end. He's had a lot of success there. But Meeks might try that ball out to Mahan. And there's another flag.
Evidently we're going to move back some more.
Well, apparently so, because the Purple Tigers are treated immediately.
10 yards. Maybe we just want a little more area to throw the ball.
May I best say, throw it out to Mahan or one of them twin boys out there.
Andrew Austin Prayer, the twins he's talking about. Mahan, Andy Willis, have several receivers to choose from. We'll see if the Tigers will get the ball into play here. 54 seconds remaining in the half.
Ball at the 14-yard line. Meeks passes. Oh, it's intercepted after being tipped, and it's Big Mo Hawkins is still on the run. He doesn't get that opportunity and makes the most of it as he returns it back to the 10-yard line. The ball was just slightly thrown ahead of the Mount Vernon receiver, and it was tipped by a Pewitt player.
And in just like a drill you use for secondary coaches, what we call a tip drill, He made his way over there and made the most of the opportunity to be in the area. And a big break for the Brahmas as they've turned back the Tigers where it could have been first or second and goal on the 3-yard line. They picked the pass off and return it to the 10 with only 43 seconds remaining here in the half.
O.J. Madlock is deep. Looks like Munn may just take a knee, and he does. And they're just going to let the clock run out.
Unless they...
Paul Pewitt counting its blessings.
Unless they mark it fairly quickly, that would probably be the last play of the half. Right now...
I think that's what they've got in mind. To go in, say a prayer, and count your blessings.
Well, it's a 24-second mark, so he does not have to snap the ball, as there's only a 1-second difference between the clock and what would be the expiration of the 25 seconds. So that looks like it's going to wrap it up for the first half, and a great first half it is. And Paul Pewitt's going to go in enjoying an 18-9 lead, and we'll be back following these words for the bands. Stay tuned.
Clean water, blue skies, bountiful forest, fresh air you can breathe and not see. I'm talking about Northeast Texas, Lake Country. If you're looking for a great place to raise your family with good schools, friendly neighborhoods, and a healthy environment, or a place to retire with access to great outdoor activities, come see me, Tom Ramsey, at Tom Ramsey Real Estate. For 25 years, we've been putting families together with their dreams.
As the largest bank in Morris County, we offer the best in banking services in our region. We have the technology and the resources to provide the same services as a big bank. Recently, we've added banking by phone and the Visa check card program to our growing list of services. But what really sets us apart is our people. Our knowledgeable, friendly staff can meet all your banking needs. We've been here and we'll be here. You can count on us. We're Morris County National Bank. Omaha Furniture is the place to go for sofas and love seats in all fabrics and colors, for sectionals that are both functional and beautiful. Or you can relax with our complete line of lane action furniture like rockers and electric recliners. And we have that perfect bedroom ensemble you've been looking for. We also have an extensive line of electronics like TVs, VCRs, and camcorders. And don't forget our complete line of appliances that are really something to cheer about. Whatever your furniture or appliance needs, come by Omaha Furniture. We also furnish Brahma Pride. Big Pen Insurance in Omaha is your insurance answer for auto, homeowners, life, business, farm, and ranch, or any other coverage. Our friendly professional staff can show you how we can tailor insurance to your needs. We're an independent agent representing Allstate and other fine companies. This enables us to find the right company, coverage, and policy that is best for you. You can trust Big Pen Insurance. We've been doing business with continuous one-family ownership since 1948. We're located on Highway 67 in Omaha next to the Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse, or call us at 884-2376.
S-Mart of Omaha, Highway 67 and 259, another Brahma Pride booster. Open 24 hours forever. We feature gasoline and diesel, fresh delicious food from our deli, soft drinks, milk, bread, and snacks. Friendly people waiting to serve you at our checkout counter. Need to rent a movie? Look at our big selection. And we own our own laundromat right next door. We're a proud Brahma Pride booster. S-Mart, open 24 hours forever for all of your convenience store needs. Highway 259 and 67 in Omaha.
Are you hungry for, say, a steak finger basket or chicken strips, or maybe a fish basket? Or a combo basket of fantastic fries with the best home-style hamburger you can find anywhere. And we don't mean one of those assembly line jobs. And it would go great with your favorite soft drink or one of our 9 flavors of malts and shakes. Or how about one of our new smoothies or misty slushes? And don't forget that Wednesday is Bean Day with all the beans you can eat for only $1.29. And dessert? We've got more blizzards and sundaes than you can shake a stick at. That's the Dairy Queen in Mt Vernon. Where else?
The fact that you can get all of nature's colors in one of the best paints money can buy might not surprise you, but where you get it just might. Ace is your place for paint.
Featuring Emily Blevins on piccolo, Johnny Three on tuba, and our beloved percussion section. We'd like to recognize this week's outstanding band member. Congratulations to percussionist on the stairs, Keaton Lee. Close tonight, Igor Stravinsky's popular ballet theme, Firebird Suite.
How often have you heard, what we need around here is a good steakhouse? Well, here it is. It's the Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse in Omaha. Whether your taste runs from our fine Cajun cuisine, good old down-home East Texas cooking, or the finest steaks you can imagine, this is the place. Try a salad or one of our unique appetizers, then get ready for one of our choice steaks marinated and pit-grilled to perfection. All surrounded by our warm, intriguing atmosphere, so for a truly wonderful dining experience, come to Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse, Highway 67 in Omaha. At the Gladewater National Bank of Omaha, our friendly employees offer you over 35 years of combined banking experience and are eager to help you with all your banking needs. Whether it's CDs, an IRA, traveler's checks, checking or savings account, a safety deposit box, or a business or consumer loan, you'll find it all at Gladewater National Bank of Omaha. Combine that with the convenience of a drive-through, commercial window service, and our convenient hours, and you've got it all. That's at Gladewater National Bank of Omaha, Highway 67, downtown. Big Ben Insurance in Omaha is your insurance answer for auto, homeowners, life, business, farm, and ranch, or any other coverage. Our friendly professional staff can show you how we can tailor insurance to your needs. We're an independent agent representing Allstate and other fine companies. This enables us to find the right company, coverage, and policy that is best for you. You can trust Big Ben Insurance. We've been doing business with continuous one-family ownership since 1948. We're located on Highway 67 in Omaha next to the Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse, or call us at 884-2376.
The fact that you can get all of nature's colors in one of the best paints money can buy might not surprise you, but where you get it just might. Ace is your place for paint.
The Franklin County Farmers Market, located next to Sandra's Cafe at the 2137 intersection just south of Mount Vernon, has the farm fresh fruits, vegetables, and more that you are looking for. Whether it's vine-ripe tomatoes, squash, plums, melons, fresh sweet corn, perfect baking potatoes, new potatoes, or onions, a variety of nuts or country fresh relishes, preserves, and more. Come to the Franklin County Farmers Market at the 2137 intersection, next to Sandra's Cafe. For a unique dining experience, try the Barnstormers Family Restaurant. From a fresh salad from our salad bar to a big juicy steak grilled to order, or a Texas-sized chicken fried steak, or any of our delicious entrees, with fries or a big baked potato, topped off the way you like it. And how about our famous fresh homemade pies, by the pie or by the slice? And you can make it a la mode. We're family owned and operated, and we'll make your visit a true dining pleasure. Eat in or out, lunch or dinner. It's the Barnstormers Family Restaurant, Highway 37 in Mount Vernon.
I'm Colin Ray. Within the next 30 seconds, at least 3 children will be physically or sexually abused. We must stop this national tragedy that robs our children of their innocence, their dignity, and often their lives. If you or someone you know are being abused, call Child Help USA National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD. Call is free and confidential 24 hours a day. 1-800-4A-CHILD. You can stop child abuse.
This year, the sophomore co-captain Brittany
In Northeast Texas, we enjoy the finest outdoor opportunities anywhere. If you like hunting, fishing, golfing, hiking, biking, or just being outside, this is a place for you. We have great schools, beautiful countryside, and the friendliest folks you'll ever find. If you're raising a family, retiring, or just looking for a good investment, come see me, Tom Ramsey, at Tom Ramsey Real Estate. For 25 years, we've been putting families together with their dreams.
As the largest bank in Morris County, we offer the best in banking services in our region. We have the technology and the resources to provide the same services as a big bank. Recently, we've added banking by phone and the Visa check card program to our growing list of services. But what really sets us apart is our people. Our knowledgeable, friendly staff can meet all your banking needs. We've been here and we'll be here. You can count on us. We're Morris County National Bank. Omaha Furniture is the place to go for sofas and love seats in all fabrics and colors, for sectionals that are both functional and beautiful. Or you can relax with our complete line of lane action furniture like rockers and electric recliners. And we have that perfect bedroom ensemble you've been looking for. We also have an extensive line of electronics like TVs, VCRs, and camcorders. And don't forget our complete line of appliances that are really something to cheer about. Whatever your furniture or appliance needs, come by Omaha Furniture. We also furnish Brahma Pride. How often have you heard, what we need around here is a good steakhouse? Well, here it is. It's the Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse in Omaha. Whether your taste runs from our fine Cajun cuisine, good old down-home East Texas cooking, or the finest steaks you can imagine, this is the place. Try a salad or one of our unique appetizers, then get ready for one of our choice steaks marinated and pit-grilled to perfection. All surrounded by our warm, intriguing atmosphere, so for a truly wonderful dining experience, come to Cajun Cowboy Steakhouse, Highway 67 in Omaha. Are you hungry for, say, a steak finger basket or chicken strips or maybe a fish basket? Or a combo basket of fantastic fries with the best home-style hamburger you can find anywhere. And we don't mean one of those assembly line jobs. And it would go great with your favorite soft drink or one of our 9 flavors of malts and shakes. Or how about one of our new smoothies or misty slushes? And don't forget that Wednesday is Bean Day with all the beans you can eat for only $1.29. And dessert? We've got more blizzards and sundaes than you can shake a stick at. That's the Dairy Queen in Mt Vernon. Where else?
We got lucky. We escaped from Dallas about 2.5 years ago. We asked our realtor, who found us a house the first day, to find us a bank. We found a bank the first day, too. We walked in the doors. Mary Jo was there. She took our hand and led us through the complications of transferring our assets, such as they were, and we haven't looked back.
I'm Colin Ray. Within the next 30 seconds, at least 3 children will be physically or sexually abused. We must stop this national tragedy that robs our children of their innocence, their dignity, and often their lives. If you or someone you know are being abused, call Child Help USA National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD. Call is free and confidential 24 hours a day. 1-800-4A-CHILD. You can stop child abuse.
Around this corner and then I'm looking for
Okay, we're back and about to start the second half of the football game. Paul Pewitt leads 18-9 as Mt Vernon's receiving team comes onto the field. Looks like Tootie Coffey, number 80, is going to kick off for Paul Pewitt. It was an exciting first half. Both teams scored on their first possessions. Pewitt couldn't convert 2 PATs or a run conversion, so they've only got 18 out of possible 21. Mt Vernon scored on a nice long drive and then came up with a safety late in the first half, and we stand at 18-9 so far.
Could have been a little closer too, except for an interception down close to the goal line by the Brahmas late in the first half. It could have been an 18-16 ball game.
And we'll count our lucky stars on that one. The ball is taken just inside the 20-yard line. And finally, the runner is brought down around the 35. That's Martin McCormick.
And a nice run back, north and south run back, puts the ball in play on the 35-yard line to start the third quarter, 36-yard line. So we'll see what happens when the coaches got in at halftime, try to make adjustments coming out the second half. We'll see what Mt Vernon does with their first possession.
Alan Llewellyn is the weak side end for Paul Pewitt. This is his first start of the year. He's just a sophomore. Chuck Johnson gets the ball, a short gain, and he's brought down by Llewellyn. Just a short gain. Call it one. Johnson had 8 carries for 58 yards so far in the game. Ricky Joe Meeks guiding Mt Vernon. There goes Johnson. No, Johnson again zapped up for another gain about the 41-yard line.
So we're going to pick up about 4 yards on a play there.
Quincy Webster, O.J. Madlock among the tacklers for Paul Pewitt.
So 3rd down and 5 for Mt Vernon here in their first possession of the second half.
So that's almost a full 5-yard gain. Makes it 3rd down for the Tigers. Munn is the safety. Wright's a corner on this side. Llewellyn drops back. Webster and Madlock are the linebackers. There's the pass to...
In and out of the hands of Joseph Kastner. He had it, just couldn't find the fingers to pull it back in.
It was Desmond Jones, number 8, and Kedrick Wright, number 10, were right there with Kastner, and they were fighting for it as they were running down the field at full speed.
Again, a nice pass from Ricky Joe Meeks to Kastner. It was right there in his hands. He just couldn't catch it cleanly on the first attempt, and then the ball just bounced around and finally fell to the ground.
So Meeks is going to punt from his own 41. Wright's deep, and there goes the punt.
Nice end-over-end punt. Nice coverage if they can just make the tackle.
Good coverage. And it's going to be about a 2-yard loss on the return back to the 25.
Brian Smith, Josh Cridler, and Matt Wilhite all down there to make the tackle for the Tigers.
about 31 yards on the punt for Meeks, as the Brahmas, or the Brahmas we're supposed to say over here, are just across the 25-yard line with 10:20 left in the third quarter.
A lot of pressure was put on Meeks that time on the punt. Just barely got it away, but a nice punt nonetheless. And so Paul Pewitt gets their first possession of the second half, starting at their own 25-yard line.
This time Shepard gets the run. He's brought down after about a 2-yard gain, make it 3 yards.
McCormick in on a tackle from his linebacker spot, shuffling down the line and meeting the ball carrier just across the line of scrimmage. Call it a long 7 here, second down and 7, a long 7 for the Brahmas.
Yeah, over here it's the Brahmas. Over in Mount Vernon it's probably the Brahmas, but down in Marietta they call them the Brimmers. So we aim to please.
On state.
Johnson split to the right. Russell Kelly. And there goes Desmond Jones for a gain up to the 36-yard line.
Yeah, he's going to be awful close to the first down by the spot on the official on this side. I think Pewitt might have got away with somebody still moving over there on the far side, but it wasn't picked up by the officials, so if it wasn't picked up by them, it's going to be a good play. They're going to move the sticks.
That's a first down, about 8 yards on the play for Desmond Jones. 75 yards in the game on 11 carries. He has the 2 touchdowns, or he has 2 of the 3 touchdowns. Munn gives the ball to Shepard. Shepard has been a good second half back for us this year. He's up to the 42-yard line, just across the 41.
Chuck Johnson in on a tackle along with Brian Smith for the Tigers. And again, it looked like at the line of scrimmage, the Tigers had it snuffed out, and just good athletic talent and a burst of speed. And what could have been about a 1-yard gain turned in about 6 yards.
So, second down and 4, long 4. English over the ball, looking right square at Quinn Coffey, the Pewitt center. Munn is the quarterback. He gives the ball off to Nigel Franklin, the sophomore. Franklin's first carry for the night. And a 3-yard gain for the sophomore, who had 150 yards in our first game against Bonham this year.
It's going to be a third down and a long 1 or a short 2 for the Bremers.
Kenneth Johnson brings the play in as Wright comes out. The full first man through gets the ball, and it's going to be real close. That was Desmond Jones. He's right at the marker.
Desmond crosses the 45.
It can't be more than a 1-yard gain, but we're going to have to see if it's a first down. They're going to have to look at it.
He's going to call it.
First down.
They'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one and call it first down and 10. Ball resting on the 45-yard line now. Paul Pewitt's had to earn a little bit more of the yardage now for first downs, as the Tigers have slowed him down a little bit from the big gains, but still hadn't found a way to quite cash in on 3 and out.
Munn's going to pass this one to Wright, makes another fine catch. That's going to be about an 11-yard gain for Wright. 4 catches for 69 yards for Wright. 7:20 left on the third quarter clock. It's 18-9. Paul Pewitt over Mount Vernon. The ball just inside the 45-yard line of Mount Vernon.
First and 10 for Paul Pewitt.
Pewitt steadily moving the ball, eating up the clock as best they can. Ball goes to the first man through, Desmond Jones.
Stopped by number 66. That's Corey Marshall for the Tigers. He's just a freshman. Number 66 for the Tigers. Defensive tackle, Corey Marshall. So you have a junior nose guard and a freshman tackle.
Chris English is a freshman tackle. Oh,
Now
no,
he's a
Chris
sophomore
English
nose
is-
guard.
So,
Corey
I tell you
Marshall
what.
is a freshman tackle for the
Now,
Tigers.
there goes Shepard, but he's hauled down.
Well, he's almost
He keeps his balance.
a
4-yard
5-yard
loss is about a half-a-yard gain, maybe.
Again, just athletic talent, good balance. Nice move by the Tigers to put pressure on in the backfield. I think some of it came from Jason Mahan. Turned it back inside and just couldn't finish him off back there at the 50-yard line, and he squirted back to the 45.
So Mahan makes a nice play in the backfield. Shepard manages to get back to the line of scrimmage. Actually lost about a half-a-yard. It's 3rd down and 10. And there goes a whistle and a timeout for Paul Pewitt. Something wasn't right. So Paul Pewitt will come to the sideline. With 5:44 left in the third, it's 18-9. Mount Vernon down by 9 points. Last time these two teams played last year, Chris Munn came off the bench for Jimmy Wilkerson, who was injured. Pewitt managed to get 2 touchdowns in the game and held Mount Vernon out of the end zone for a 14-0 win, as we went 10-0 that year in regular season play. Mount Vernon has as much promise as any team in this region with the freshmen and sophomores that's starting, Robert.
Well, that's one thing that Coach Meeks has brought in is a new outlook on an offensive philosophy. You know, Coach Roden was real successful with his football philosophy, but it was more like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and, you know, he really didn't want to put the ball in the air. And Coach Meeks has come in and opened it up for the offense for Mount Vernon, and it's just going to take a while for them to become accustomed to his play calling, to his offensive philosophy, and I think he's got some promising young kids to try to carry that on from this year and then get all that game experience for next year.
Mount Vernon will have to be favored, especially next year, to win their district, and certainly to get in the playoffs this year, just by what they've shown tonight. Lots and lots of talent out there.
But you take a look at the district team that Mount Vernon's in, there's a lot of good records sitting out there right now by all the teams in that district.
Munn is going to pass. He's got a man wide open, but he throws
Intercepted.
it, and it's intercepted
By number 22, I think that's Cody Newsom, as he played well, and a lot of pressure on Munn right there, and the ball was probably underthrown a little bit due to the pressure, and Mount Vernon gets a turnover and thwarts this drive for the Paul Pewitt Bramers.
Not a really good decision by Munn on that play. He had a lot of pressure, but there were a lot of Tigers down there with their receivers, and 22 made a fine catch. So Mount Vernon's going to take over in their own territory, but it's about the 23-yard line. A long drive and 2 points, and we got a 1-point game. As Meeks brings the Tigers up to the line, Johnson has the ball, and he makes that outside move again. Kedrick Wright runs him down. They get him out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
So again, just speed.
He's across the 30.
Just speed right there for Johnson, because I think it was supposed to break a little bit more toward the tackle, but it was closed up. A lot of blue jerseys standing in a hole, and as he attacks the hole, he draws the Bramers in tighter, and then he has enough speed just to go parallel to the line and try to get around the corner.
7 yards for Johnson. That gives him 70 on 10 carries in the game. Doing a yeoman job tonight. 3 receivers to the right, but Martin McCormick gets the ball and makes a
nice run
to the 41-yard line. That's an 11-yard gain from McCormick.
And that's something you can see right there, too, as a ball carrier, if you have a chance to look at it. He was switching hands as he was going through, protecting the ball and trying to move it away from the defenders. All this while he was still running perpendicular to the field, picking up yardage.
Paul Pewitt's defense tending towards the receivers. They know they're vulnerable in the pass game. Mount Vernon taking advantage, giving the ball to the running back right off the tackle. Meeks again. McCormick gets the ball. He finally caught up with him about the 45-yard line.
There's a little bit of activity taking place down there. It gets the fans riled up a little bit, as there is a flag on the play. I didn't see the flag thrown, but evidently some of the fans over there kind of saw something happening, as did the official. You know, that's one thing, too, this year, that a lot of teams that are going to go against Mount Vernon, their defensive philosophy is going to have to change against the Mount Vernon Tigers. Before, they were able to put about 9 or 10 people up close to the line of scrimmage and play for the run. And with the trips and the twins and the shotgun and the I formation, the defensive coordinators for the teams that are going against the Tigers are going to have their work cut out for them, trying to figure out what set they need to be in for whatever formation is going to come up.
Well, Mount Vernon gets a boost on the personal foul by Paul Pewitt.
Called him for spearing. I see him knocking the head. So he came in helmet first,
right,
and that's going to be costing 15 yards against the Brumans.
Ball goes to the 40-yard line of Paul Pewitt. First down, 4:49 left in the third quarter. Meeks back to pass. He's got a man open. He makes a nice pass,
it's just overthrown.
Just overthrows.
That's Chuck Johnson streaking down the sideline, and had that been just a little bit more air under it and allowed Chuck to run under it, that would have been 6 points because he was behind the secondary.
Well, Meeks shows us a strong arm because that was thrown on a rope down to Johnson. He was standing about the 45, and Johnson touched it about, or almost got to it, about the 10.
And that ball landed on about the 5, so there's a lot of arm back there.
Ball goes to Johnson.
Nice run. Looks like he's going to pick up about 4 yards on a play. He's going to bring up third down at about 6, but it was a lot of Paul Pewitt blue jerseys sitting there in the hole. And
O.J. Madlock, Alan Fluellen, Quincy Webster all around the ball.
If you name about 10 of them, you'd have most everybody who was around the ball at the point of the tackle being made. Big third down play for the Tigers here, as they're not quite in 4-down territory.
Third down, 6 yards to go, maybe a long 5. And Meeks calls a timeout. Didn't like what he saw. So Mount Vernon gets a timeout with 3:57 left in the quarter. Mount Vernon is moving the ball well, but gets to a critical point and seems to be making mistakes. They're not making a lot of mistakes, but the ones that they do make have been big for them.
Well, that's one of the things Coach Meeks wanted to correct after the Hooks game, because we did the same thing at Hooks. We moved the ball well all night against Hooks. We'd get down to about the 35 or 30, but we just couldn't punch it past that point all during the first half. The second half we did a little better. But that was one of the things, talking with Coach Meeks, is he wanted to be a little bit more consistent offensively when you get into, you know, an area where you're really putting pressure on the defense, try to finish a drive off. And tonight, one time down, we had an interception, and the other time we got down here and just ran out of downs and had to pooch kick it in there. It's going to pick up a couple of yards, and so we'll have to wait and see what Coach Meeks wants to do right here. It's going to bring up a 4th down and about 4 yards to go for the Tigers.
Still plenty of time left in the ball game. It's 3:39 and the clock is still moving.
Last time we had them in this position and we punted, put them down on about the 10-yard line. The result was a safety when we held them for 3 and out. So we'll see whether that's the same type of philosophy he wants to go with right now or not.
Meeks is calling a play, reading apparently from his wrist. So they're going to go for it on 4th down and almost 5 yards to go.
A lot of scrambling by the Bremer defense. The fake. Now you got to get up.
Caught Meeks for a loss this time. The ball is down. It's still loose. It looks like Paul Pewitt may have recovered.
They would have gone over on downs anyway, but at least it wasn't a returned fumble for a touchdown. And so a lot of scrambling going on by both the Tigers and the Bremers trying to get to the football.
It's going to be a 10-yard loss on the play.
Pressure coming from the blind side on Meeks as he didn't see it, didn't have a chance to set up. A nice fake to the inside, but I think they had a stunt coming on, and instant pressure from the backside. Result was a fumble, and the Tigers are fortunate it was just downed and not returned.
That was O.J. Madlock that ran down the quarterback, then ran down the ball as Pewitt takes over at the 47. Chris Munn's going to pass this time, and he's got a man open. That's Desmond Jones. Jones makes some good moves for a first down.
Takes the pass, runs to about the 38-yard line. Tackled by number 40.
Ball's to the 43. That's about an 11-yard gain for Desmond Jones. And it'll be a first down as Pewitt moves into Mount Vernon territory at the 43.
Chris Munn had some pepper on that pass, and it stuck right there in Desmond Jones' hands. He made a nice move after the reception.
Russell Kelly is split to the right. Nigel Franklin, the sophomore, gets the ball, but there's lots of Mount Vernon players over there. He still picks up about 4 yards.
A lot of shake and bake in that move right there.
5'7", 140 pounds, and that's when he's wet. Nigel Franklin, the sophomore, among a group of sophomores that we're really going to have to count on this year for production.
And he's just a sophomore. It seems like Paul Pewitt always seems to come up with backs year after year after year. And that's perennially why they're in the playoffs all the time.
That's usually our identity, and we've been looking for that identity this year as the ball sets up at the 38. Second down, 6 for Paul Pewitt. The pitch is to Jones. Jones moves up, makes a nice spin move. He's finally brought down there at the 31-yard line.
That's the same move that they had early that he scored on from about 32 yards out. This time he had yardage, but not enough for the score. It's still a nice move. You can tell that he's been coached well. He has a lot of natural talent and a lot of balance in his run, too.
We're dependent on him. He's a junior this year. We've always opened the year with 2 solid running backs ever since 1993. This is the first year. Desmond we knew was going to be back there, and Terrion Shepard has stepped in. He's a senior. We're still looking for that identity with Nigel back there. Looks like Desmond, the first back through, gets inside the 30. So Paul Pewitt is finding its identity in the backfield.
It's another one of those time-consuming drives of less than 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter.
Another 5-yard gain. That's 89 yards in the game on 15 carries for Desmond Jones, the junior running back.
Anytime you can pick up 5 yards on first down, it sure makes your second down play calling a whole lot easier.
The Brahmas inside the 30, about the 28-yard line. Kenneth Johnson is split wide to the left. Munn keeps the ball, turns it upfield, does a good job spinning down inside the 20, just across the 20.
It's the first time tonight I've seen him run the down-the-line option. Chris Munn comes up gimpy leg just a little bit, but it was a nice run as he kept the ball, did a spin move, and made about 2 or 3 extra yards out of that reversal direction.
That's another first down for Paul Pewitt. Clock is moving, 1:15 left in the quarter. The Brahmas on the move. Mount Vernon trying to stem the tide.
And play coming in a little bit late. They're going to have to rush this one to beat the play clock.
Russell Kelly is going to split to the right with O.J. Madlock inside. Terrion Shepard gets the ball, follows some of his blockers, and just takes off downfield. He mainly hides behind some big guys before Mount Vernon can find him. He's inside the 15 to the 13.
Well, they didn't take any time once they got to the line of scrimmage getting ready for the play, and as a result, they caught Mount Vernon probably thinking they were going to take a little bit longer to get the play off for the snap count. And Terrion Shepard sure made a nice run. 25
seconds left in the quarter. The clock is moving down. Paul Pewitt at the 13 with a 2nd and 3. 18-9 is your score. Nigel Franklin turns up, makes a nifty little move. There goes
there's a flag, so
that's going to negate that. 7 seconds.
That'll leave us one more play.
Looks like it's going to be holding.
That'll probably still be the last play of the third quarter, as once they step off the penalty, they're going to wind the clock and get the play started, at least get the play clock started again.
Flag is down at the 15, so they're going to mark it from about 15. That's holding. So that'll be 10 yards against Paul Pewitt. 6th penalty for 40 yards for the Brahmas. So 7 seconds left. We'll get one more play off as Madlock comes off the field, holding, the official says, against Paul Pewitt, puts the ball back to the 26-yard line.
So we wind the clock. I don't think you're going to get another play off before the third quarter expires unless they speed this up. So we'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
At the Gladewater National Bank of Omaha, our friendly employees offer you over 35 years of combined banking experience and are eager to help you with all your banking needs. Whether it's CDs, an IRA, traveler's checks, checking or savings account, a safety deposit box, or a business or consumer loan, you'll find it all at Gladewater National Bank of Omaha. Combine that with the convenience of a drive-through, commercial window service, and our convenient hours, and you've got it all. That's at Gladewater National Bank of Omaha, Highway 67, downtown.
Freddy's Auto Repair, Highway 144, 1 mile south of Omaha, is a proud Brahma booster. Freddie Joyner has 34 years experience, with 15 of those years as an ASE Master Certified Mechanic. Freddie does all types of general and automotive repair and an engine rebuilding. They're also high performance and rear axle specialists. They offer the latest computer diagnostics. Freddie's Auto Repair, located 1 mile south of Omaha on Highway 144. Freddie's Auto Repair, another Brahma Pride supporter. S-Mart of Omaha, Highway 67 and 259, another Brahma Pride booster. Open 24 hours forever. We feature gasoline and diesel. Fresh, delicious food from our deli. Soft drinks, milk, bread, and snacks. Friendly people waiting to serve you at our checkout counter. Need to rent a movie? Look at our big selection. And we own our own laundromat right next door. We're a proud Brahma Pride booster. S-Mart, open 24 hours forever for all of your convenience store needs. Highway 259 and 67 in Omaha.
Paul Pewitt has the ball at the 26-yard line. Munn steps back to pass to start the quarter. He's got Kedrick Wright. Looks like a touchdown, no flags. A little pushing between both players. So Wright catches the ball for 26 yards.
So the first play of the fourth quarter, the Bremers strike again. And this time, pretty good coverage on the outside. Josh Cridler for Mount Vernon, just a hair late getting his head turned around, being able to step up and swat the ball away. But again, a nice pass play for the Paul Pewitt Bremers. And now we'll find out, it looks like they're going to line up and go for a single point. This time they're changing the kicker. I think
Ishmael Wilkerson's going to give it a try. This is a first for him this year. Ishmael can kick the ball. He's done it before. Obviously, the coach is looking for a solution. Getting a player in late, Kenneth Johnson comes in to fill a hole. 11:54 left in the game now. Ishmael Wilkerson's going to give it a try. The hold is by Chris Munn. There's a flag on the play. The ball went through.
Another hefty leg kick, though.
A nice kick by Wilkerson, and he's not happy. He made it. Oh, must have been good. Let's see what the official says. It's offsides against Mount Vernon. The point is good.
So 11:54, just 6 seconds into the fourth quarter, Paul Pewitt raises the lead to 25-9.
So Pewitt strikes quickly. Mount Vernon seemed to be on a roll. Got the benefit of the holding penalty as Pewitt moved down the field. On the play, Mount Vernon and Paul Pewitt were sparring for the ball. A little pushing on both sides of the flag. No flag. And the result was another Kedrick Wright touchdown. For the first time this year, Kedrick has used his hands well.
Well, now Mount Vernon finds themselves in a little deeper hole than they did earlier, and so they're going to have to strike fairly quickly and often and make the most out of each drive if they get their hands on it, and then somehow find a way to slow the Bremer backfield down. As you know, when you make 5 to 7 yards on the first down play, sure makes it a little tougher on the defense to try to hold that yardage to keep from moving the sticks.
Adrian Coffey will kick off for Paul Pewitt. Chuck Johnson is deep for the Purple Tigers. $25-9 your score. Nice kick by Coffey to the 5-yard line. Number 14 has the ball, makes a nice move up to cuts upfield.
That's Joseph Kastner returning the ball for the Tigers, and he brings it all the way back up to about the 29-yard line, where the Tigers set up shop now and trying to erase a 25-9 deficit.
Definitely, that was a good move by Kastner to get up the middle to the 29. Looked like he was going to be stopped around the 22-yard line. An extra 7 yards never hurt anybody. So Meeks brings the Purple Tigers up. They're looking for some points as the game begins to wind down. There's the pass.
Intended for Kastner, just a quick swing and what we call a fairly quick screen out to the side, but just led him just a little bit too much down the field and falls incomplete, brings up a second down now for the Tigers.
That catch by Wright was his 5th catch for 95 yards tonight. Ishmael Wilkerson, has one catch for 30 yards. Desmond Jones, one catch for 11.
Meeks calling signals, giving it to McCormick as he cuts it back, has a nice hole. Depends on the spot. They're going to give him the spot here is going to be a favorable spot. Going to give it to the 40-yard line. That's going to move the chains and give a first down for the Tigers.
Well, McCormick put his head down as he hit the line, and all of a sudden the hole opened up and he was free. Ended up having to lunge for the last 4 or 5 yards. If he had stayed a little upright, he might have been gone.
But it was a nice move. It looked like he was pretty much
down.
Closed off at the line of scrimmage, but found a crease, cut it back, and made a nice play out of it. Nice game.
9 carries for 56 yards, all hard yards from McCormick. He's paid for them, and he's made the Brahmas paid for them, too. You got trips to the right.
Twins to the top side, so there's no backs in the backfield for Meeks. 5 linemen up front.
Oh, 45 for Mt Vernon moved just prior to the snap, just rocked back and got caught.
So at this point, those are some of the things that you can do here in the pre-district games. And for Mt Vernon, they have one more district game, a pre-district game left next week against the DeKalb Bears. It's homecoming next week for the Mt Vernon Tigers. Whereas Paul Pewitt now has had their 5th game of the year with this one. We'll take a week off next week before entering into district play the following week.
We go to Prairie Land on the 13th and have our homecoming on the 20th here against Hughes Springs. So Meeks, they try the same pass. It's a good one this time, though. Nice play by...
That's to Brian Smith, the one who was caught moving in a play before. A nice catch and a nice move. If he could have just shaken that leg loose right there, he had a few more yards to make, but we'll take that. That's about 12 yards to maybe 12 to 13 yards on a play. It's going to bring up second down in about, looks like 3. Now they finally spot it. Yes, about second down and 3 for the Tigers.
Ball at the 47 for Mt Vernon.
Again, the offensive set sure spreads the defense across the field, trying to cover everybody. And a quick pass and a nice catch by Kastner. He shakes loose from one person down a sideline, still going. They mark him out up here at about the 36-yard line, but a great play right there. A bullet pass. Could have been touched or picked off, but finally found his way into Kastner's hands, and he did the rest of it pretty much with a couple of blocks. He had a lot of yardage made by himself heading down the sidelines.
That's about 18 yards on the game. Another first down for Mt Vernon. Nifty run. He looked like he was going to be stopped for a short gain by Quincy Webster, the linebacker, but he shook loose Webster. There goes McCormick. McCormick runs into his own blocker. Joseph Stokes, Alan Flewellen, Mo Hawkins, and Miles Stokes, Jonathan's brother, all in on that tackle.
Well, that's one of the few times that McCormick hasn't had an opening to run through, but if you take a look, I was fixing to make a comment about the defense. This is what your offensive set does to you when you have a defense that moves according to some strength calls. There were a lot of the Paul Pewitt Bramers that were still moving, trying to get to their set when that snap went off, and maybe that's one of the things that confused the Tigers also is they still didn't know who was going to get set in front of them for the play.
3-yard loss on the play. Mount Vernon has a 2nd down and 13. Meeks steps back and...
Oh, no, again, one of those that should have been caught.
That was a touchdown because the Paul Pewitt defender had fallen down. And that's number 10, Kedrick Wright. Almost had an interception if when it...
laying on the ground.
It would have been one of them oops. So that's an incomplete pass.
That was one that was probably going to be 6 points after that was caught, because the defender had fallen down and there was really no one left close to Andy Willis at that point. So right now the Tigers facing a 3rd down and close to 13 yards to go.
Mount Vernon's dropped 2 that could have been touchdowns tonight. Meeks isn't giving up, but he's caught behind the line on the sack. O.J. Madlock is there. Joe Cobbins is there. 55 is Mo Hawkins. Caught him about the 40-yard line.
That's a loss. Another loss on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 15 for the Tigers. And Coach Meeks now left with a big decision here, whether he wants to punt and put them in deep, deep in their end of the field.
Well, with 8:42 left, you'd think if Paul Pewitt fielded it cleanly, they would run off enough yardage and enough time to probably put this one away. So they're going to go for it.
Meeks giving to Johnson, and he's not going to have enough yardage, trying to get them scattered around, thinking they're going to pass and maybe play for the pass and sneak the run by them, but not to be done this time.
Adrian Coffey, the defensive end, ran him down. A nice play by Adrian. So the ball goes over with 8:19 to play.
Paul Pewitt has the ball now, the ball resting on their own 38-yard line. So now the task becomes even more pressured for the Tiger defense to hold them and get the ball back, or a turnover, something that Mount Vernon can use to try to get on the scoreboard.
Munn hands the ball off to Terrion Shepard. There's a flag on the play after the play.
They're going to call Mount Vernon for a head shot, a spearing shot, as I saw the official tap his head. That'll tack on 15 more yards to the play.
That's a 5-yard gain for Shepard. 5-yard gain for Shepard, a 1st down and 15. 7 penalties for 55 yards for Mount Vernon. 2 major penalties lately by both teams for spearing, but I don't think they were mean-spirited shots.
No, I don't think it was out of somebody just trying to see if they can do damage. I just think it's out of hustle and just came in without the hands extended and the head hit first.
8 minutes left to play in the ball game. Pewitt has the ball across the 45 to 47. Munn turns it up, keeps the ball, twists and turns inside the 40-yard line to about the 37. That's going to be a 6-yard gain for Munn.
And that's another one of those plays that looked like Munn would have been stopped close to the line of scrimmage, but just found enough crease in the line of scrimmage to break for 6 yards.
Munn is just finding himself on that option play. It seems like sometimes they'll hold it too long or they won't decide who's going to take the ball, but he's been running it down the line like that. He's been running it down the line and doing a pretty good job lately of running the offense.
There's a flag.
Be a legal procedure, maybe a delay against Paul Pewitt. Legal procedure they're going to call. They're waiting an awful long time to call that, to throw that flag. If they're going to stop play, they need to stop the play before the tacklers get to each other. So, make it 2nd down 9 for the Brahmas. 7 minutes and 10 seconds. The band making a lot of noise on this side of the field right now. Desmond Jones is in. Terrion Shepard comes out for a break. Munn brings the Brahmas up to the line. Ball at about the 43-yard line of Mount Vernon. There's the draw play. That's been successful for us this year, and it is tonight. Ball's inside. And finally, there's another flag. The official couldn't find his flag. He meant to call that a long time ago. The ball's sitting at the 33. It's going to be against Mount Vernon.
Yeah, that was a late flag, so we're not sure what it was, but that's why it was late.
Unsportsmanlike against Mount Vernon. Might have been frustration on one of the Purple Tigers' part.
That's one of the things that doesn't need to happen right now. The Mount Vernon Tigers have played a heck of a game. They, again, have not finished a couple of drives off, or this game would have been right nip and tuck. 6 minutes, 36 seconds left. It's still not over, but things like that sure puts your defense in a bind. It puts your offense in a bigger bind as you move them closer to the goal line and keep them off the field. So time to remain composed and know that you're playing a good game, and this is what you're learning from, so that when you get into district, when you have conditions like this, you know how to meet the challenge.
And that district play is just 2 weeks away. As you said, DCAP going over to play Mount Vernon for homecoming next week. We get a week off, and I think we could use it just to get over some nicks and cuts and bruises and get ready for Prairieland, who's undefeated at this point. Munn gives the ball to
himself.
Oh, he kicks the ball. Very
nice fake
move by Munn.
I'm like you. I was looking for Nigel Franklin with the ball. He was making some nifty moves in there, and he didn't even have the ball. And Chris Munn hid that ball well from everybody, including the Mount Vernon defense.
So with 6:09 to play, Munn might have put this one out of reach. Of Mount Vernon. It's 31-9. Ishmael Wilkerson is going to try the 2 points. The hole is good. The kick is off somewhere towards Naples. That's to the east. The goalposts are to the north. So the kick fails. And it's 31-9.
And I guess if there's been a weakness tonight in Paul Pewitt's game plan, has been the extra points. There's been a real exciting time every time that ball snapped as to what's going to happen.
Well, Ishmael is a good tight end and a fair defensive end, but he's 1 for 1 in kicks. That's not bad. Ishmael is the younger brother of Jimmy Wilkerson, who graduated from Paul Pewitt after a great career here, and he's playing up at Oklahoma now for a freshman linebacker, getting time in behind a couple of All-America backers. So he's doing well up there in Soonerland. So Mount Vernon is wanting to do some damage quickly, as Chuck Johnson is deep for the Purple Tigers. Adrian Coffey, they call him Tootie, is going to kick off. Joe Cobbins doing a little cheerleading for Paul Pewitt as they look like they're going to catch the first win of the season. It's high school football, Robert. I don't dare say they are. There's 6 minutes left to play.
I remember one time I left when Plano had a big lead over, John Tyler had a big lead. And then I went back and found out that the score was real close from what was like 35-14 at one time.
That's Joe Kastner, who makes another good move on a return. He catches the ball at about the 15, returns it across the 30 before he's brought down by, looks like, Terrion Shepard and Adrian Coffey, Ishmael Wilkerson, Alan Llewellyn all around the ball. The ball's going to be at the 34-yard line for Mount Vernon. Number 65, that's Kenny Webster, going to come in for O.J. Medlock. He's a senior linebacker. Meeks looks to pass. They're going to go to the air. 81 is wide open. Is intercepted by 20. Nobody's going to catch him. Looks like a 42-yard return for a touchdown by Terrion Shepard. Terrion's in the right place at the right time.
Again, the ball was right on the money. It just squirted
Headed for
out of
81. That's one of them
Puryear boys. That one is Austin Puryear. It just kind of went through his hands and had just enough elevation left on it that Terry and Shepard was in the right place at the right time. And 42 yards later, they add to the problems that the Tigers will have in a comeback here. Point after is no good. That one was awful low this time. And so...
Well, Ismail's career may have ended at that one. Of course, that might not have been his fault either. But it's 37-9.
So 3 scores here in the fourth quarter by Paul Pewitt has broken open what has been a close game into one that when you take a look at the score in the paper, you'll think that they ran all over Mount Vernon.
Wasn't the case, though. Wasn't the case. Not until the last few minutes, and that was on a long pass and a pass interception return. But Mount Vernon's back on the field. Chuck Johnson again deep. Brian Smith and Joseph Kastner are the 2 upbacks.
The thing Mount Vernon knew coming into the game, though, that this was not going to be a pushover. 0-4, very deceptive for the Brahmins.
After the Purple Tigers won so handily last week over New Boston, and after we had seen the game on film and watched it on Channel 54, by the way, we knew that Mount Vernon was going to bring they always bring a football team over here ready to play, and they're always well coached. To be honest, though, we really needed this win badly. I don't know if it would have hurt us, but two games in the last 2 weeks that come up just short in the last seconds of the game had our dollars down a little bit. So this is going to be a good win for Paul Pewitt.
What the Tigers need to do now is just mount as much a comeback as they can, hold their heads high and keep competitive like they have all game long. Now there's a hit.
There's a real good hit by Adrian Coffey. Kenneth Johnson was with him, and Mr. Smith and Mr. Coffey know each other well at this point.
That was a nice tackle. And Brian Smith, as he ran up into the middle, never got a chance to lower his head when he saw it coming, because I don't know if he really saw it coming.
Well, Brian looks like he's about 5'8" or 5'9". Adrian is 6'3", and he's got them big wide shoulders, and there wasn't much Brian could do about that one. But he got up, got off the field, like, hit me again if you can, big man. So from the 25-yard line, Meek still has the ball. He's on the run, and he throws it out of bounds. That's a good play.
Got rid of the ball. It was intended, if you want to call it intended for anybody, the closest man to it was Michael Mundy. He was running a pattern, but I think that was more, he was running for his life, and we're just going to throw that one up where nobody can get to it.
Meeks did a good job of doing just that. The ball sitting at the 26-yard line, 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. It's 37-9. Paul Pewitt finally put 2 halves together and probably will come away with the win tonight as Meeks brings the Purple Tigers up. Johnson gets the ball and makes that quick move around the corner.
Still up.
Some good yards, still up and running after about 8 yards, 7 or 8 yards.
You know, year in and year out, that's been a trademark of the Tigers. Even ahead or behind, they hold their heads high and they are competitive till the clock runs out. Right now, that's what they need to get a little bit more of, is familiarity with the offense, continue to drive the ball.
That's an 8-yard gain for Chuck Smith. He's pushing 100. He's at 84 yards now with 5 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the game.
3rd down and 3 for the Tigers. They give it to Chuck Johnson again, and he's going to find just enough room for a 1st down and keep this drive alive.
I think I called him Chuck Smith, didn't I? Well, it's Chuck Johnson. I'm sorry, Miss Johnson.
Kenny Webster, number 72, Michael Hill, tackle for the Bombers.
First down for Mount Vernon. The ball sitting at about the 42-yard line.
Trips to the right.
Excuse me.
Trips to the right and twins to the left. No backs back there to help Meeks out in this case. So pressure's got to come quick. A nice pass and catch by Michael Mundy as he slanted across the middle. Ran a nice little post pattern, short post, and just one step away from breaking it.
18 yards and a first down. Mount Vernon moving the ball inside Paul Pewitt territory at the 45-yard line.
But you know, again, you take a look at it and see the replays, you'll notice that Mount Vernon moved the ball well all night, getting across the midfield stripe, but they just couldn't finish off the drives.
The mark of maybe a young team, Robert.
Yeah, this is kind of reminiscent of what happened against Hooks. We would take and move the ball, but we wouldn't score, and Hooks would take the ball and utilizing the talent they have. And Hooks has got a good ball club this year. They used their speed and their talent, and the score looked lopsided. But when you take a look at the ball game yourself, if it's just a break here or a break there, the game really could have been a lot more competitively close. And the same thing here tonight.
The coaches will make it clear that we made mistakes, but we moved the ball. We just got to mature inside the 20. The penalty moves the ball back to midfield. It was against Mount Vernon on an illegal procedure. So it's going to be 1st and 15 from midfield, 4:26. The clock is moving. Meeks keeps the ball on a nice play action. He goes long, a pretty pass.
And it's tipped and caught by Joseph Kastner. And 50 yards later, the scoreboard is going to light up on Mount Vernon's side. And that's something we didn't get the breaks in the first half. We'd hit them in the hands, and it would fall down incomplete. And this time, we get a break with a tip pass, and still eyes on the ball. Joseph Kastner hauls that one in, moves it 50 yards for the score.
As a 50-yard pass, Russell Kelly went up to catch the ball. It went off him and into Joe's hands. Joe had no problem getting it into the end zone from that point. So Mount Vernon finally catches a break.
Felix Brinker to try the extra point, ball, the bad snap, and then that's going to be one of the times that Mount Vernon is not going to get their extra point off. So a bad snap.
And I have to say again, Ricky Joe Meeks' pass was on a rope. It's an excellently thrown ball. Just needed a little help from one of the Pewitt defensive backs. But
well, you know, you look back at the film, too. There's about 3 passes early on that might have been a difference in the score. They had one to Chuck Johnson just barely overthrown, and 2 of them that were either going to be completions to keep a drive alive or possibly even a score as wide open as the receivers were, and they were both dropped. And who knows? We're not fortune tellers, and you can't look in hindsight and say that might have made a difference in the game, but I have a feeling those passes, which were, you know, wide open people, might have been a factor as far as the score being a little closer at this point.
If the Tigers look at it as a learning experience, they'll gain from it. They'll know that going in against Pittsburgh and Quitman and Mineola and Raines and Winsboro, I think they're going to be able to throw up a real fine performance in district this year.
Well, the first district game will be against Quitman, and Quitman right now is enjoying a 4-0 record, depending on what happens with tonight's game, whether they go in. I think they have a game tonight, and they're open next week. They will possibly be, and I think they play Bullard. I think somebody told me they played Bullard, and that's probably going to be a win for them. They'll go into the first district game with a 5-0 record, and Mount Vernon, on the other hand, not undefeated, but still a good record. An onside kick, and it's up on the ground. There's a scramble, and it looks like Mount Vernon is going to come up with the ball, and the official says so also. So it bounced off the good hands people from Paul Pewitt. Desmond Jones comes up shaking his head. I'm not sure if he's the one that fumbled the ball or not.
Yeah, if he had the ball and he had fallen down on it, but apparently didn't have control, and Mount Vernon got in there. The ball came out, and the Tigers take over at midfield, looking for another long touchdown with 4 minutes and 3 seconds to play. And why am I not comfortable with a 22-point lead?
But
so Mount Vernon takes over at midfield. Go ahead, Robert.
That's one of those things right now to hold your heads high and then make this comeback and maybe try to finish it off as a win.
Ricky Joe, I bet, throws the ball this time. Gee, what a surprise.
You better get rid of it pretty quick. That's a nice catch.
Completion by Mahan to the 45, inside the 45. That's 8 yards to 43.
Pick up of about, what, say 7 or 8 yards. Second down, looks like we'll call it a short 3 to go.
Second down.
Meeks feeling a little pressure on that one. He got rid of it just in time before he was fixing to take a pretty good hit.
Mo had the bead on him, but just didn't have the speed to get to him.
No backs.
So no backs. Trips right. 2 receivers to the left. Maybe Ricky Joe will keep this one. Probably not, though. Nice play.
Nice pass, nice catch, a great shot. I'm not sure who came in and finished that one off. That's number 15. That's Munn. He had a heck of a shot in there to number 12, Andy Willis.
Munn and Madlock on the play.
Andy Willis made a nice catch.
33.
He took a good hit first, and then the second time, Munn finished him off with another great shot.
And a nice catch, a nice play to hold on the ball because he did take some shots. So the ball inside the 35 of Paul Pewitt. Mount Vernon driving again after the onside kick. The ball is going out here to McCormick. It's fed by Desmond Jones.
There were about 3 of them out there reading it. He's trying to strip the ball from him as he was taking him down, but wasn't able to do so.
Looks like there's going to be a loss on the play of 2 yards.
That one looked like Paul Pewitt had kind of seen in practice that one before, because there was a lot of people converging on McCormick at that point, and he didn't have much room to run at all.
McCormick, one of 7 receivers to touch the ball tonight for Meeks, so he's an equal opportunity employer. As he drops back, looking again, he's got a man over the end that's intercepted by Quincy Webster at about the 23-yard line. He's still on his feet and still moving, getting some blocks, running away, running around. He's still open at the 40, at the 45. There's a flag. That's going to be an illegal block on Paul Pewitt. But a nice job by Quincy Webster.
Quincy was playing center field back there, and he was reading the quarterback all the way, stepped right inside the intended pass receiver, and then ended up making one of those across the field runs. A nice return, but if you ask him, he ran a whole lot further than the yardage he gained.
That's the 3rd interception of the night of a Ricky Joe Meeks pass by Paul Pewitt.
That one's going to be the 15-yard penalty as a illegal block below the waist on the return for Paul Pewitt, so that's somewhat of a break for the Tigers as it moves Paul Pewitt back to their own 31-yard line.
One thing Coach Meeks may be talking about this week is penalties. That's the 10th penalty for 90 yards is what I've got against Mount Vernon. So 90 yards of lost offense.
New quarterback in here now, number 10.
Kedrick Wright. So Kedrick Wright gets in, getting some snaps at quarterback. He's down to the 30. That's about a 1-yard loss. Rutherford on the tackle for Mount Vernon. The minute 30 left of the game. 37 to 15.
Imagine Paul Pewitt's going to try to utilize most of the clock right now, run some conservative plays, try to stay in bounds and keep the clock rolling. They know they've dodged a little bit of a bullet with the turnover on the kickoff, the onside kick, and got the ball back. Just the basic hand sweep.
Nigel Franklin, the sophomore, has the ball. probably didn't get any sort of a game on the ball. 57 seconds. They'll have to have at least one more snap.
Well,
And it's been a good game. Desmond Jones has 99 yards rushing, and Kedrick Rice 95 yards in receptions for Paul Pewitt, 89 yards rushing for Chuck Jones, and 7 people that caught passes from Ricky Joe Meeks. 27 yards on 3 for number 12, Robert.
That's 12, Andy Willis.
Including that touchdown. Wright keeps the ball, turns.
Ball's on the ground.
Ball's on the ground.
There's going to be a turnover, and there's going to be 14 seconds left in the game. And the Tigers will have a couple of chances to see if they can improve on the score.
It's been a long game.
It started out quick. First quarter was relatively quick, but since then, a lot of passes and incomplete passes and turnovers and touchdowns, and the clock has stopped several times. So the Tigers have one more chance here to see if they can crack the scoreboard again. And
well, if they pass the ball, maybe twice. Maybe twice. If the ball at the 35.
They have 1 or 2 timeouts left, too, so we'll see what happens here in 14 seconds to go.
Chris English is in the backfield for Mt Vernon at fullback. Played a good game at nose guard. Meeks is going to go deep downfield. Got a man wide open.
Wide open, and it's going to be 6 points for the Tigers. That's the number 22, Cody Newsom. Faked it deep to the side to the... That one was faked deep to the outside. Drew the defenders away for a second. Cody Newsom running a post pattern. And a nice pass from Ricky Joe Meeks, who's had the ball on the money for the biggest part of the night tonight. And that's just a nice catch and run also after he caught the ball.
What's Newsom's number? 32.
So the score right now is 37-21. The snap and the kick, and that one looks good. And it is. So 7 seconds remaining on the clock, and the score.
Okay, 7 seconds left in the game. It's not. The scoreboard says 55.
I've got 37.
I think it's still 37.
They're going crazy on the scoreboard 37. Right now, but it's 37-22. Oh man, live. There's some scores I didn't write down, and I know they've been scoring quick, but I really thought I'd been catching everything.
It's been a busy fourth quarter. Paul Pewitt scored 19. Mt Vernon has scored 13 on 2 long, quick passes. Meeks shows how capable he is on the pass, and his receivers, when they're around it and catch the ball, are going to keep Mt Vernon in the game.
How many yards was that pass play for?
That was a 35-yarder. And it was, again, on a rope. Meek doesn't know how to float it in there, does he?
No, but he's been putting it right in their breadbasket tonight. Early on in the season, it was more of, trying to find his receivers, and the timing wasn't there. But the timing is getting a whole lot better. And there's several times tonight he's just had receivers that dropped the ball that was right there.
So it's 37-22. I wonder if they're going to onside kick. And the ball is covered up this time. That's Jamie Cameron. Recovers at the 47 with 6 seconds left. And what's this thing? 0-0. So Paul Pewitt will probably take a knee with 6 seconds. The safe thing to do, as we found out on the last couple of plays. Don't give it back to Mt Vernon just because they're 30 points down. Got to congratulate you, Robert. You got a good team this year. Showed a lot of guts. We're glad y'all came over, and we hate to go there next year.
Well, that's the same way. We really feel like we get an advantage by playing Paul Pewitt every year because they're going to give us a contest, and they did tonight, and they deserve to win.
And that's the ball game, 37-22 Paul Pewitt. We'll be right back. Lord of mercy. We won.
That was a nice, at that point, the scores, 2 scores, allowed us to get back and make what is a closer game like it should have been and what it was going to be with that 37-9 score.
Oh, yeah.
I still feel like those two passes that they dropped early.
Okay, the final score, Paul Pewitt 37, Mt Vernon 22, but the Purple Tigers come back with 2 long touchdowns in the 4th quarter to make it a respectable game. Of course, the score doesn't really reflect the kind of football game it was, Robert.
It was an excellent ball game. I think that Paul Pewitt came out, had a good game plan. They executed well. They have the speed that we knew they would have. And the respectability of the last 2 scores, I think that just shows something about Mt Vernon keeping their head high. They never just give in. I've never seen them give in. And that's just a promising note for them to end this game on with 2 quick and good late strikes, to know that they're capable of pulling out some games now. And our congratulations to Paul Pewitt for winning the game tonight, and good luck to them for the rest of the year as they head into their district play. Finally broke into the win column, and they could easily be 4-1 as well as 1-4 right now.
It's been a long September, but Paul Pewitt finally finds the win, getting the work from Desmond Jones that we desperately need, and Chris Munn, the quarterback, doing a good job on the pass plays and the keepers, that he's getting good yardage on up the middle. Excellent play by receivers Ishmael Wilkerson and Kedrick Wright. Our defense is just going to have to really pull together. Of course, the playing field evens out when we go into 2A play finally after 5 3A games. And that's against Prairieland at Prairieland on October the 13th.
Well, Mt Vernon takes to the field next week as they didn't play in a 0 week. They have homecoming activities next week, and the DeKalb Bears will be coming into town, and Mt Vernon will hope to improve their record to 3-2 before they head into district, but they don't have that week off. And Quitman is their first district game, and Quitman plays their 5th game tonight and will have a week off to rest. So we'll see what the difference in having that week off versus not having that week off will be whenever the 2 teams open up their district play at Quitman. So Mt Vernon again, too, I think you take a look at what's happening here. You've got some young backs getting a lot of experience. Chuck Johnson, Brian Smith, both running well tonight. Martin McCormick was running the ball real well up the middle. And Ricky Joe Meeks having a great night, accuracy-wise, and hitting his receivers, and some good receivers. And like you said, they spread it out so that you're not going to be able to key on that great receiver that one team has and double cover him. My hat's off to Coach Meeks and what he's done, and I'm proud of the Mt Vernon Tigers and their game tonight. They came up on the short end 37-22, but what a game. It's always a great time when 2 match up against each other.
A lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game. I'm looking forward to a day off after the September we've had.
Well, we'll be back next week in Mt Vernon and bring you the game between Mt Vernon and DeKalb, so stay tuned for that game next week and watch all the replays this week and catch all your favorite teams here in the Northeast Texas area, brought to you by Channel 54 Sports.
This is Bob Runyon for Robert Taylor. We've had a good time tonight. I'll see you in a couple of weeks, but I'll find me a football game next week. Good night, folks.
Go Tigers.
Hungry? Head for Sandra's Cafe at the intersection of 21 and 37 south of Mt Vernon. There's a lunch special that includes a salad, choice of entrees, and 2 vegetables, cornbread, and tea or coffee included. Sandra's has a complete menu that includes a chicken fried steak that's East Texas good and much more. And Sandra's is open till 2 after home games, and students can get a burger, fries, and drink for only $3.99. And don't forget Sandra's Cafe for breakfast. That's Sandra's Cafe at the intersection of 21 and 37 just south of Mt Vernon.
Looks like another scorcher. Hey, Mrs. Johnson.
You'd be surprised how much the right air conditioner can save on your monthly cooling costs. American Standard, cutting the cost to cool.
Thank you.